from orangutans, if I'm not mistaken. And then the orangutan branch formed, and then it split again, and then it split even more until we have all the species.
Oh, I see. I see. I see. So those don't. So that doesn't happen anymore because that already happened, is what you're saying.
No, it does. It's just a thing that takes millions of years.
Oh, I see. I see. I see. All right. Very good. Continue. I'll keep listening.
Okay.
Thank
Well,
you.
appreciate you coming on up here.
Thanks.
Yep. Make sure you double tap it on that screen, sharing it with your friends. If you're enjoying the debate so far, make sure you drop a follow so you never miss a single debate ever again in the future. If you want to support the stream, Venmo's allegedly-ian. Cash App is just allegedly Ian. I appreciate any and all support. Thank you all so much. Angla, I can't pronounce that name at all. Hey, what's up, Tanner? How's it going?
Oh, just living the dream, man. How are you doing today?
Doing well, doing well. How old are you?
I am 35 years old.
Yeah, okay, cool. So
How about yourself?
I'm 23. I only ask for like TikTok terms of service reasons.
Oh, okay,
So
fantastic.
yeah. So what religion are you?
What? Pardon?
What religion are you?
So that term, religion, I guess I would be non-denominational, and I was an atheist for a majority of my life, and I just much like you, I like scientific data, right? Like
Yeah,
going through
cool.
little things like like evolution takes a substantial amount of time. In the same regards, like I am Native American, and most Native Americans are lactose intolerant because we never drank milk. Very similar to a lot of Asian countries, and a lot of people around the world never drank milk. So I mean, even now you have those traits, and it's only thousands, hundreds of years old. Like eventually you'll kind of get to that point. Kind of ran into, right, because I was like, well, it's kind of a crock. Religion is kind of a, and I just,
Mark, thank you so much for the $20 on Venmo. I will hit you with a hot to go.
and
HOTTOGO. You can take me hot to go. HOTTOGO. You can take me hot to go. Thank you so much, Mark. I appreciate that. Let's get a W mark in the comment section. I'm sorry, please continue.
oh yeah. So when I kind of went further down the rabbit hole of, I think the term God, right? It's not a word that was intended in its use from its original scripture, because the Bible is basically transposed from the Emerald Tablets of Thoth or the Sumerian tablets, depending on your interpretation of, right? I'm fairly open-minded on a lot of it, but when I kind of went down was when in 2012 they discovered Higgs boson matter, or the God particle, right?
Oh, so it's do you know the Higgs boson, the actual name of it, it's not the God particle, it's like the goddamn particle because of how goddamn hard it was to find.
Yep.
FL, thank you so much. Appreciate that. So it's just like a name. This is not evidence of God. Why would this be evidence of God?
No, it's not, but they called it mainly because that at some point something at somewhere was created, was, from my understanding, when I
Nope. That's
no
not why they called it that. They called it the goddamn particle because of how hard it was to find.
oh, okay. Yeah, I kind of looked at like a lot of the scripture, and when I go through it, not literally, metaphorically, because it's almost like as if it's through so many different languages in between. And like when I got into the story of Adam and Eve is not a story about humans. When I read it in its original form, it's like ATOM and EVE, like it's almost like kind of like talking about how protons and electrons.
Wait, are you driving right now?
I am.
Oh, I'm sorry. You can't be driving. Don't request to join if you're currently driving. It's a TikTok terms of service violation. But keep on double tapping on that screen. Share it with your friends. Do all those good things. As we try to find the next guest. If you want to join the community, if you're 18 or older, make sure that you're joining the Discord. So you can just go in there to $God, and it'll come up with a bingo sheet. And you can play God Bingo with all the fun people in there. It's also a great place to just make some friends. What's up, Truck Talk? How's it going?
Okay, I just have a few minor questions, nothing major, like the
Yeah,
rest
what
of
are
the
your
people, right?
few minor questions?
Okay, so obviously I could tell by your green screen you did not believe in God, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, the powers of deduction are strong with you. Yeah.
I respect your decision. That's yours. Everybody thinks different, but
Hmm.
can you explain how we got the four elements,
The
all the
four,
planet?
the four
Yeah,
elements.
yes.
The four elements. What are the four elements? Re- that was the question? Okay, whatever. Folded like a chair, scrambled like an omelet, dunked like an Oreo, cooked like a souffle, baked like a potato. Get your ankles absolutely shattered. You will never walk again. I can't believe that that's the question that caused an all collapse. What's up, Pastor? How's it going?
It's going good. How you doing?
Yeah, doing well. How old are you?
I'm 42.
Okay, so what's your strongest argument, or, oh yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, what's your strongest argument for the existence of God that does not involve personal experience?
I think the cosmological argument is probably what I would hang on to, but I don't think the question is. I don't want to say fair. I don't. I think we're on the same boat. Is what I'm saying.
I don't really know what that means.
Like I'm on my side of I believe by faith or whatever, and then I interpret the science to be one thing, and then you're on the other side and you interpret science to be the other thing. So I would say like when I look at something can't come from nothing, right? We can't create matter. Matter has to be created, but we can't create it. Like something can't come from nothing.
That's not, well, so I don't think something came from nothing. I think that something has always existed. I would just bite the infinite regress bullet. In
Sure, I
fact, I don't
get
even think
that.
it's like much of
I
a
get that,
bullet.
but
And
there's
in
no good
fact, I also
evidence
think
for
that
that.
you as a theist also have to bite that bullet. So,
That's what
do you
I'm
think
saying.
God made time?
What I'm what I'm saying is if
I
we're
just
on the
asked you a
same boat,
question.
yeah, I think time starts. I don't think it has to be created.
Oh, okay, but you think time has a beginning?
If there's an infinite, then you know the clock has to start somewhere. Because like if
Oh,
you would,
no, no, no. Wait, why would that be the case?
because we live on time. Time is created.
Oh, no, no, no. So you're just inserting your conclusion. So I ask you, why did time need to be created? And you're just telling me because it had to be created. I'm looking for like an actual causal chain. But I think I'd ask you, so um, in order for time to have a start, that's going to imply that time already existed because you can't have a change without time. So you can't go from time not existing to time starting unless time already exists. And I'll break that down. So the start
No,
of time is
no, I
going to be a
understand your
change in.
argument.
Oh yeah, perfect. So then, so you would say that there was a time when there was no time. There was a time before the existence of time.
No, I think we would both agree that there's something infinite, but you would say it's the universe, and I would say it's God.
Oh, so you think God is time?
I think God is timeless. I
But do
think
you
He's
think God
infinite.
is time?
No, that's not what I said. I don't think God is
Oh,
time.
sure. So then there's going to be a problem with the creation of time, that it's already going to presuppose the existence of time, which means that you can't create it because it already exists, or that it can't have a start because anytime it would have a start, it must already exist, which means that time is just going to be an eternal thing that's always existed.
All right, can I respond?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, yeah. So God doesn't have to be time to create time.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm saying that time can't be created.
If time is infinite, then is it just a construct then? Is that what you're arguing?
No, I'm saying that it's infinite. So I'll break the
I'm
argument down for
agreeing with
you.
you that if that there is no time, like time is infinite, right? Because God is infinite. That's my argument. Your argument is the universe is infinite.
No, no, no. So I'm telling you that God can't create time. It's not possible for God to have created time. Let me explain this. So creation requires a change of states. A change of states requires a change. A change requires a before and after. A before and after requires a past, present, and future. And a past, present, and future requires time. So in order to create anything, you need to already exist in time. If you don't already exist in time, you can't create anything, which
agree
means
with you.
that
God
time
exists
can't be
outside of time,
created,
space.
because in order to create time, you would already have to exist within time, which means that God, if you think God, if there was ever a time when time didn't exist, God would be divine deadlocked. He can't create time because in order to create, he needs time to already exist, but it doesn't because he hasn't yet created it. So he can't
No, what?
create anything.
Yeah, my argument would be that God exists outside of time, space, and matter, because all
So
these things are created. You're right.
can I get you to reject a premise of the argument then? That in order to have creation, you need to have time? Or do you want the 5 premises again?
No, explain. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
So
explain how you would need time to
Yep.
have a creation.
Yep. So creation is a change of states. A change of states is a change. A change requires a
You're
before and
assuming something that's
after.
already in existence for it to be changed.
What am
not
I?
something
What am
that's
I?
created.
What am I? Yeah. I'm just saying creation is a change of states. It goes from non-existence to existence. It goes from not existing to existing. That's a change of states, unless you think that not
I mean, no, I
existing is
get that,
identical
but
to existing, in which
I think
case
you're
you have.
trying to use semantics to get around the
No,
fact
I
that if
think
there
you're
wasn't anything
dodging. I think you're
created,
being a zooming
I'm not
Zeke right
dodging.
now. I need you to answer. I need you to reject a
Go ahead.
premise. Like pick
I'm
a
not.
specific premise to reject. And do
Go
you want to
ahead.
hear the 5 of them
Yeah.
again?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So, creation is a change of states. A change of states is a change. A change requires a before and after. A before and after requires a past, present, and future. A past, present, and future requires time. Which of those do you reject? Otherwise, creation requires time.
I don't think I have to reject either one of those.
Oh, yeah, then
Just like
creation
you wouldn't have
then
to
creation requires time. I mean, it's deductive. You quite literally do.
if the universe is infinite, it didn't have a start. Would that be your argument?
So my argument is that time can't be created.
Okay, so it's infinite. Universe is infinite.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I'm saying to you, though, is that if you believe the universe is infinite, I disagree with that premise. I believe God is infinite.
Oh, so then you need to reject a premise. So which premise do you reject?
I don't. He exists outside of those premises.
No. So unless you exist outside of logic, unless God is illogical, then you need to reject a premise.
I don't think so.
Why not?
I think because here's what we're doing is that you have no good logical argument to prove that time is infinite.
Well, I just gave it to you that time can't have
about
a
William
beginning.
Hubble?
I can't. Yeah, because a beginning is a
Edwin Hubble,
change
I'm
of
sorry.
states, and then the rest of the argument follows from there. That a beginning requires time to already exist. So there can't be a beginning to
I don't
time because a beginning would imply that time already exists, which means that time has no beginning. That's the argument.
Okay, time has no beginning.
Thanks, Helen. Appreciate it.
Time as we know it. Is that what you're arguing?
Just logically, deductively, time has no beginning.
Yeah, if there's something infinite, you're correct in that. Time has no beginning.
Yeah,
God is
perfect. So
timeless.
then God couldn't create time. And the only way to reconcile this with the Christian worldview is just a full-on abandonment of the cosmological argument that
No, I think
you can't have, because otherwise you have to have time time exists eternally, it's existed forever, and also God has existed forever.
yeah, you can make the argument that if God is timeless, right, then there's no such thing as a actual time, because we're living in the infinite.
Wait, so you would just reject
That
the
would be the
existence
same
of
as the
time?
universe. That would be the same as you saying the universe is infinite.
Wait, so
We're
you
living in
would
the infinite.
just reject the existence of time then?
Yeah, I mean, as a construct, right?
No, well, that
When
just
is
sounds like
time
nonsense.
what?
No. I don't know. I think time exists. I experience time. I experience it, therefore it exists.
No, that doesn't make sense. I experience God, therefore it exists. See, the argument doesn't
Oh,
work.
no, but your experience of God can be traced back to the right temporal lobe, whereas you can't trace anything back to brains for time because brains only operate if time exists. Brains require a change in states.
That's circular reasoning. You just made a
Wait.
premise,
So
factual
what's my
statement.
if it's circular reasoning, then what's my conclusion and how do I presuppose it in my premises? Go on.
Yeah, what you said was that state it again about you know, what did you just say? I'm sorry, I lost it.
About
You said that yeah, time exists to you, therefore it exists because you experience time.
yeah, I experience it, therefore it exists.
That's what I'm saying. Well, then why, if I say I experienced God, therefore he exists, do you understand how that's the same exact argument?
No, because specifically your experiences with God are all going to be able to be traced back to a specific part of the brain. That time is
You
not
don't
going to be able to be traced back to any part of the brain because the brain operates, it presupposes time. Brains don't operate outside of time. Minds don't operate outside of time.
That's what I'm trying to argue with you, is that the time as you're describing it is a social, is it's just a construct, not a social construct, but it's just a
I have no
construct.
reason to think that. I think time
Because
actually
why,
exists.
how is what I'm saying. You're not making a good enough
Do you
argument
think,
that
do you,
there,
so do you
because you
think,
believe in an infinite universe.
okay, so let's call this moment
How
right
does
now.
time exist if you
Wait,
believe in
wait.
an infinite
Let's
universe?
call this moment right now moment A. Let's call this moment right now moment B. Is moment A the same thing as moment B?
We're still in moment A. Does that
We're
make
not.
sense to you?
We're not because time is past
We
sense.
exist in the time that we're in.
Yeah, so I mean, you can adopt like a presentist view, although I'd probably hold to a B theory of time. That's fine. Either view of time that you have, we are not eternally present. There's a difference between this moment and this moment and this moment and this moment. There's a
I think
difference. Time obviously exists. I don't know who you're trying to convince with this argument.
I'm saying time could be a construct because if there's something infinite, you would argue that the universe is infinite.
I would argue that time is infinite.
Okay, so then when did time begin?
It doesn't have a beginning, it's infinite. That's like asking what the lowest number is.
Okay, so we're both in agreement that time is infinite.
No, because you said that time has a beginning.
I didn't say that. You said that.
Oh, so no, you said
You
this
said in our
multiple.
brains.
Wait, you said this multiple times that God created time and that time had a beginning. You said those are two exact quotes from you.
I'm saying
that's
from
fine.
us, time has a beginning, right? The beginning of the universe, let's say, for instance.
Oh,
Just
no,
for
so
instance.
that's if that's what you meant. I'm talking about time overall. That time has always existed.
Time has always existed. I would say that time is a construct.
Nico, thank you so much for the manifesting. I don't know. So when you say time is a construct, what do you mean by that?
Is that if there's an infinite, do you understand? Like, you agree that there's an infinite. Your argument for infinite is universe. Is that right?
My argument for infinite is universe? No, my
you
argument
believe-
for
believe the universe is
infinite time
infinite.
is that time must necessarily have always existed. Otherwise, there's a change, and change requires time.
So time is always existed, right? That there was never like a
Yes.
start. There was never
There
a
was
start.
never a start. It just keeps
Okay,
on going
so-
back.
So if there's never a start, my argument is, as far as the physical world, as far as the things that we see have to be created, if you want to call that time beginning, well then you can, but that would be incorrect, right? Because if time has always existed,
I don't think
how can you
time has a
create it?
beginning. This is like I've never
I
defended
am
that
agreeing
time
with you that
began.
time doesn't have a beginning.
Perfect. Then God didn't create everything.
I would say the beginning of the world had a beginning, right?
Yeah, but so you think that
some
that
point
God
in
did
the
not.
infinite.
So
At
you
some
think
point
that
in the infinite, this
so
world
you
became
think God
the
did
world.
not create everything, that there's a thing that God did not create.
If you want to say like two exist, correct? Like 1, 2. The number 2 exists. If I never wrote it down, but I have two things, 2 still exist. But then the second I write it down, you now have a number for 2. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
Nick, thanks so much for the $1 on Venmo. Let's get a W Nick in the comment section. Keep time infinite indeed. They keep on trying to take away our infinite time, Nick, but I'm fighting the good fight. I'm not going to let them.
Hey,
Let's get a
can we
let's get
change
a
the
W
argument?
Nick in the comment section. I'm not really sure. I don't really understand the analogy at all.
Okay, but so all right. Well, then let's say I concede. Can we change the argument? On
Sure. What's the
time and
argument? Yeah.
timeless, right?
Yep.
I'm assuming you agree in some kind of moral standard.
Yeah. I think I'm a moral realist, Stephen.
Yeah, universal morality in some level.
Objective, not universal morality, but like objective morality.
Okay, you would believe in an objective moral construct.
An objective moral standard, sure, yeah.
Okay, objective moral standard, meaning murder is murder all around the world or whatever.
Not like usually, yeah. So like effectively, yes, but you could probably like philosophy your way into like if you had to pick like one murder or like 20, then maybe.
No, I just mean the killing of the innocent. I mean overall.
Yeah.
Murder, right? Murder, because there's a moral standard or whatever you want to use for that. But whose standard are we using?
Oh, so for me, it's just going to come down to the fact that suffering is experienced qualitatively as bad in the same way that the sky is experienced qualitatively as blue. Precious, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
But that would fall under subjectivity for you.
No, it wouldn't.
Why not?
Because it corresponds, suffering as an experience corresponds to an objective fact about the universe, specifically the potassium to sodium ratio that your neural pathways that your like neurons in your brain have to overcome along like the suffering pathway. That this is going to be the same neural pathway present in literally every person who suffers. It's the exact same pathway.
If that's your argument objectively, then we would all suffer in the same way.
No, because so other parts of your brain could be different, but I think qualitatively the experience of suffering is going to be the same, but it's going to be different intensities. The level of intensity that you experience is also determined by another objective fact about the brain, specifically how many times a specific action potential threshold is overcome again and again and again.
You can know that from who you test, but you can't make the overall statement that that's how everybody is wired or works.
Well, that's like everyone that we've ever tested, everyone that we ever observed. Like, we assume that everyone has brains, but it's like possible that they open up like whatever like George has going on over there, and it's actually a bunch of spaghetti and meatballs. That would completely throw the paradigm out of whack. I just have no reason to think that because the science is like pretty robust.
Your objective morality then is based on our physical condition as far as our brain and what's going on in there, right?
Yeah, it's like the objective facts about like what's going on in your brain. Yeah.
So then that was my question. Then how can you hold anybody to any type of standard if that's the case? Because for me, I could say monogamy is moral and not being monogamous is immoral, right? In other words, and we can be affected by it in two different ways. You could be in an open relationship and not have any kind of feeling about it. And I can be in a closed relationship and have all kinds of feelings about it. It comes down to subjectivity if it's just wired brain.
It's not. So the standard is not like, well, this person wants this thing and this person wants this thing, and they're both correct. It's not subjective. There's going to be an objective fact to the amount of suffering that your actions cause. And the actions which reduce suffering are going to be the good ones, and the ones that cause more suffering are going to be the bad ones.
You're making an argument that you cannot prove factually.
Yes, I can, because suffering is experienced as qualitatively bad universally.
You don't know that if something happens and there could be no suffering for somebody.
Yeah, then I would just then there's like nothing to say that like what's going on is going to be bad. Jackson, thank you so much for the $1 on Cash App. If a person didn't suffer, then you can't like assess the badness of what you've done to them based on like they're not suffering. Also, could you provide me like the individual who doesn't have the suffering part of their brain? That seems like deeply implausible to me.
Well, we wouldn't know unless we test everybody, and you haven't done that. But
yeah. I mean, it's possible that the sun doesn't rise tomorrow. It's possible that we like cut open someone's brain and it's actually just spaghetti and meatballs. All these things are possible. I just have literally no idea why I would ever believe any of them.
Right. So who's to say then what's the worst of the bad or not?
What do you mean? What's the worst of the bad? So the objective standard that I would set is that for any given action, any situation. Jackson, thanks so much for the $1 on Cash App. Let's get a W Jackson in the comment section. Appreciate that. The objective standard that I would set is that if we could have like an objective like third party observer who could experience or like evaluate the suffering experienced by everyone in the situation, then they could objectively determine what the best outcome and action to do in the situation is.
Yeah, but you can't. That's the point.
Well,
You-
yeah, but
you
that
just said
fact,
the
like the
objective
fact
standard that
itself.
you would set.
So
That's
even if like
subjective.
the absolute facts, like the objective, total, definite facts, are in some scenarios unknowable to us, that does not mean that they don't exist or that it isn't still the objective fact of the matter.
Do you get what I'm saying though? It is that you then subject which evils, as you would call them, are worse than others.
We have to know, because so it would still be like the fact that one party suffers like X amount and the other party suffers Y amount, and then like the outside parties suffer like Z amount. And then we can compare this to a different scenario where we take like the other action and it causes like however much other suffering, and then we can evaluate that suffering and see which scenario causes more suffering.
You realize you're making zero sense in this argument.
Which
I
part
don't
of
know
that
if you
makes
realize
zero sense?
Is that the fact that you are using subjective language for something that
No
you're
part of this is subjective.
arguing
It's
to be
all just going to be
objective.
an objective fact about the brain. Philip, thanks so much for the $6.66 on Venmo. Let's get a W Philip, W666, W Satan, Hail Satan. I appreciate it, Philip.
I get that you're saying that the brain can experience some sort of trauma or some sort of what do you call it?
Like
Suffering,
there is a
right?
neural
Some sort of-
pathway across
some
every
sort of
single
suffering.
person that is
But that
activated
just-
when suffering occurs. It's going to be true across literally every individual.
But it doesn't generate the level of suffering which would bring about right and wrong. Listen,
Suffering is
can
experienced as qualitatively wrong.
Can I?
The fact that you suffer means that you're going to be there's like a sensory experience of wrongness present in the sensory experience of suffering.
No, sir. That's not an objective argument. Listen, let me break it down this way.
Is the sky objectively blue?
Listen, I hate
Greg,
cats,
thank you so much for the $2 on Cash App. Let's get a W Greg in the comment section.
but I hate cats. Okay, so if a cat dies, I don't care. Okay, but there's other people who would see a cat die and it would cause them to suffer.
Yeah, so
At
then
what level?
killing a cat in front of you is going to be bad because it causes suffering to the cat, whereas killing the cat in front of them is going to be bad because it causes suffering to the cat and it causes suffering to the other person. But if your literal only two options are to kill the cat in front of this person or kill the cat in front of you, then the moral choice would be to kill the cat in front of you if the cat must be killed.
But you're still saying that it would be morally wrong to kill the cat because the cat suffers.
Yes,
That's a subjective
and suffering is bad.
argument.
No, wait, so
That's
is the sky subjectively or objectively blue?
It's objectively blue.
Yeah, and why is it objectively
doesn't
blue?
prove your argument.
What factor makes it objectively blue?
How is suffering something objectively?
Wait, just answer my questions. We got to get somewhere. So, why? Let's say before we discovered like the existence of like color wavelengths, before we could measure these.
Yeah, I don't think we can make that argument.
Was the sky objectively blue even before we discovered color wavelengths?
I mean, maybe if I'm colorblind, it's not.
Yeah, but to like the average person, is it going to be objectively blue?
You're trying to make an objective statement based off of one group of people. That's not the way that works.
Yeah, no, but I'm asking for like to the non-colorblind people, is this guy going to be objective? Like earlier, you had no problem just agreeing with this. Like for the sake of argument, the edge cases don't matter in terms of the colorblind people, because the debate is in fact not about colorblindness. It's about suffering, something experienced by everyone. So let's stop dodging the question
What I'm saying
and
is
just
it's
answer.
experienced at different levels. So which
Wait,
ones
so
are worse and which
that's
ones are not?
fine. I can just ask this question. So why is this? You said the sky's objectively blue. What makes the sky objectively blue?
because we interpret the color as blue.
Perfect. So the sky is objectively blue because it is qualitatively blue. We see it and we qualitatively experience blueness.
We've been given
When people suffer, which is correlated to an objective part of reality about the neural pathways activated in the brain, it is bad because it is objectively bad because it is qualitatively experienced as bad. It's the exact. It's a one-to-one parallel.
Let's back up to the sky is blue. How do you know that the sky is blue?
Probably because when I look at it, it's blue, and also
Sure,
it's like
okay.
verified by the empirical evidence
No, I
that
agree with you.
this
I agree with you about
wavelength
the
is
empirical
associated with
evidence. Well, how do
blueness.
you know the color blue?
From experience.
From experience, did you figure that out, or somebody told you it was blue, or did somebody tell you about the color blue?
That I
Not the
attach.
color
So that I are you asking like how did I come to attach the specific label to the color blue?
No, I'm asking if you were taught the color blue.
No, I just like saw the color blue.
You solved the problem of
I saw
color.
the color blue.
No. You were taught that color was blue. Is that right or wrong?
Well, I mean, I knew what the color blue was before I knew the name for it.
When you were in kindergarten, did you learn blue?
Yeah,
red,
yeah.
white?
So I learned the
okay.
name for the color.
The
I
name
already
for the
knew.
color
I
you were
already
taught.
knew the color because I already had seen
Sure.
it before.
No, I agree with you with that. But you were taught that the name of the color was blue.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
sure.
And then that's
Yeah.
how you experience it, because now you know this universal truth of the color blue is this. That's
I don't
what I'm
wait,
saying.
wait, but that's not true. I don't experience when I look at the sky, I experience it the same way that I experienced it
You still have
when
to
I was
know that
when I was a
someone
child and
still had
didn't
to
know what
tell
the
you
label
that,
was.
that color was blue.
Well, yeah, but I experienced the color of the sky
Yeah.
the exact same way.
Okay.
Like this is
I agree with you.
ridiculous.
I agree
Yeah,
with you. So
perfect.
you still
Well,
have-
I mean, it
what
seems
I'm
like you
saying is
don't because
we
you
can-
just disagreed. Kat,
We
thank you
can
so
have
much
an
for
objective
the
moral standard, but somebody has to tell us that those morals are morals.
No. And this is just
Yes.
wait. So this is just going to come down to the fact that I didn't agree to any of that. So you tried to walk me through. I didn't agree, and now you're just trying to declare victory. So if you want to go back to this, my claim is that the color blue is experienced the same right now as it was before I knew the name for the color blue. Suffering is going to be experienced right now in the same way that I experienced it before I
you.
knew the name of suffering.
You're proving my argument for me. Somebody had
That's
to tell
not
you
your
there was
argument. That's
suffering.
my argument. Wait. That's the opposite of my argument. Nobody
No,
had to
it's
tell
not.
me.
You just made
Nobody.
it for me.
Nobody
You
had to
agreed
tell
with
me
me
what the
through your
label of
argument.
suffering was. Nobody had to tell me what the color blue was. I experienced these things before I knew what the label was. And
You would not know
knowing the
what it
label
was.
to these things, knowing the
You would
label
not
to
know
these
what it
things
was without
didn't
somebody
change my
explaining it to you.
experience with them. You can try to like obfuscate and like intentionally mishear me and then try
I'm
to
not.
declare victory. Well, that's my exact argument. No, it's not. It's the exact opposite of your argument, in fact.
You just made my argument.
I made the and you're
that we
short circuiting.
both-
Wait, you're short circuiting right now. I agree.
not.
You can say that I just made your argument for you. That's not true, though. I made the exact opposite argument that the experience of suffering or blueness is going to be independent of the fact that you know the label to it. That you're still going to experience blue as blue, regardless of whether or not you know the label for it. You're still going to
Okay.
experience suffering as suffering, regardless if you know the label for it.
Okay, so here's what I'm saying. Yes, we're both going to experience the sky is blue. We're both going to experience suffering, but we have to know the label of what it is to know what we are experiencing.
Why? No, we don't.
Because-
Wait. So
because
does a
how do we know it's bad or
does a deer know when they're suffering?
Probably.
Yeah. So does a deer know the word suffering? Does it have a label for it?
I wouldn't say the deer understands suffering. No, I wouldn't disagree with that. You're right.
Oh, sure. So you think a deer has no idea when it's suffering? So you think if you were to like
I think a deer can ca- I think a deer
when a
can
burning
feel pain.
fire causes a like a big tree to fall on like a baby deer and it's like dying in agony over multiple days, you think it has no idea that it's dying in agony?
Oh yeah, I would argue that. I think
Perfect.
it
So
knows
it
it's
seems
in
like
pain.
it does know when it's experiencing suffering.
You don't know that. How
You
can
literally
prove
just
that?
agreed to it.
No, I said I know it can feel pain. I didn't say that was suffering.
So
Pain
does
is
it know when
always
it
suffering.
does it know when it wants something?
Probably knows when it wants to eat.
Does it know when it wants something or when it doesn't want something?
Like what?
Does it know when it wants something or doesn't want something?
I think pertinent to the conversation, you would have to describe what it would want or what it wouldn't want.
No, I don't. Does a
Why
deer
not?
know when it wants something or doesn't want something?
I mean, I can't agree with you in the fact that I don't know what the deer is wanting
Does a
for.
deer know when it doesn't want to die an agonizing death?
No,
It has no idea.
no.
Like a deer has no idea whether it wants or doesn't want this agonizing death.
I would agree with that statement. It doesn't know that it wants or doesn't want an agonizing death because it doesn't have the same level of consciousness as we do.
Yeah, but it's capable of experiencing these things, and it has this sensation of agony, and its response to the sensation of agony is this don't want feeling.
Your definition of that is suffering. I would say that
Yeah,
that's not
so
that's not the
suffering is
deer's
pain
definition
that you
of it.
don't want. So the deer experiences pain, and also experiences not wanting the pain. So it experiences suffering.
I don't think pain you don't want it can be qualified as suffering.
So then what's the definition of suffering?
I don't know. You're the one that was
Yeah,
bringing
so, and I
on
gave you my
suffering.
definition of it and you rejected it. You have no
Yeah.
replacement definition. Suffering is the pain that you don't want. It's the undesirable pain.
I don't agree with the fact of it being like a physical pain. Suffering can be all kinds of different ways.
Yeah, it can be like emotional pain, mental pain. Doesn't need to be physical
Emotional.
pain.
Yeah, it could be emotional. Where does that come from? That's my whole point.
Wait. Big dog, let's not pivot away here. Does a deer
Okay.
know when it is feeling pain and when it doesn't want to be? Does it know both of these things?
I would say that a deer does know when it's feeling pain. Yes. I don't know necessarily that it doesn't know that it doesn't want that it knows
Does
that it
it
doesn't want to be feeling
or
pain.
is a deer averse to certain things? Is it going to experience an aversion to specific things?
I mean, I don't know that, neither do you, I don't think.
Yes, we do.
How could you factually
Yeah,
know
with
that?
with neuroscience, super easily. It's going to be the same neural pathway, I would imagine, because we're both mammals.
And so a deer would have consciousness like a human does.
Probably pretty similar.
See, I would disagree with that because there's no factual evidence
Yeah,
to,
we
to,
can.
to
This
show.
is actually so we can just do like
We hooked a computer
chimpanzees.
monitor up
Let's
to the
do
neurons and
let's
saw
just
that what
do
it's
wait. So
feeling.
that's fine because I'm not. If you want to like gum up the gears, you can gum up the gears all you want, and I'll just drag you on through it. Let's go to chimpanzees. So does a chimpanzee know when it doesn't want something?
I mean, maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, I don't know much about chimpanzees. I know that our DNA is close to chimpanzees, but they're different.
Do chimpanzees experience desire?
Oh, yeah, I would say they experience desire. Like
So
they
do
desire to
they
eat a banana.
experience certain sensations being undesirable?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do
I
they
would say that
experience certain
chimpanzee is a different
experiences
level of
as being
consciousness than a
painful?
deer.
Do they experience certain sensations as being painful?
Yes.
So they experience suffering.
You're equating pain with suffering. I'm not.
No, because it's both. It is pain and the undesirability of that pain. They experience the undesirability and the pain. That's suffering.
I think that is your interpretation of suffering.
It's my definition. Definitions aren't propositional.
I mean, but that's not a factual across the board definition. That's my opinion.
Wait. Do you so when I say the phrase
What about somebody who can't feel
sentences
physical
aren't
pain?
wait, what do you think I mean when I say definitions aren't propositional? Wait, so suffering, the state of undergoing pain, distress, or hardship. So can you tell when do you think that like a chimpanzee experiences distress?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, so it experiences suffering. Perfect.
Okay. Let's
Yeah,
say
so so could you tell me what word a chimpanzee has for suffering?
I mean, it doesn't.
Yeah, perfect. So you don't need to have a word for suffering to experience suffering. So it's not subjective.
I didn't say suffering was subjective.
Yeah, perfect. So we agree that some things like objectively experience suffering. So that is my objective standard
What I'm
is going to
saying,
be present in suffering.
the level of morals doesn't depend. How do you get your level of morals based on degrees of suffering if we all suffer in different degrees?
Yeah, because the degrees in which we suffer is also going to come back to neurochemistry. So suffering is caused by overcoming of a specific action potential threshold in the brain. The more it's overcome in like quicker and quicker successions, it's like a feedback loop. The experience gets worse and worse and worse. So we can tell the intensity of one's suffering just based on the brain.
How would you tie that to an objective moral standard is what I'm
Because
asking.
how many times it gets overcome is going to objectively map onto the suffering that's experienced.
Say that again?
Because how many times an action potential threshold in the brain is overcome along the suffering pathway is going to correspond to exactly how intense the suffering is.
Okay, so in other words, if I murder enough people, and then the threshold, I'm talking about moral standards here. I'm
Me
talking
too.
about right and wrong.
Me too.
Okay, that's my point, is that you're not explaining to me how your level of right or wrong can be different from my level of right and wrong if there's an objective moral standard.
Yeah. Oh,
Objective, you know
yes.
what the
Yeah.
word
Because it's
objective means?
because so yeah, yeah. So objective
Okay.
is going to be stance independent, whereas subjective is going to be
Yes,
stance dependent.
correct.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
And so like we can do like define this philosophy word game if we want,
I don't
but
think
it's
it's a
going the objective
philosophical word game.
standard. Wait. Is your specific brain state an objective fact?
My specific brain state, the fact that I'm alive, the
No,
fact that it's
no.
working.
The specific state, like the specific neural pathways that are activated in your brain. Is it an objective fact which pathways are activated in your brain?
I mean, potentially, I'm not real up to
It
date on
is. Yes,
brain neural waves. Okay,
it is.
all right.
Yep. So that's the objective standard. Is going to be when your suffering pathway is activated and how many times the action potential threshold has been overcome.
And again, how does that prove a right or wrong?
Yeah, because
If
suffering is experienced qualitatively as wrong in the same way the sky is experienced qualitatively as blue.
right, suffering as in if somebody, and I just tie it back to murder because I think murder is the most universal, killing of an innocent or whatever. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like if you witness a murder, okay, and then it does something to your neurological pathways, and I experience somebody being murdered and it doesn't, then that's not objectivity.
Wait, I'm sorry.
That's
Run that back one more
objectiveness.
time.
If you witness a murder, let's say of your loved one, let's just say because of pain and suffering, the way you've laid it out, you witness a murder of your loved one. It affects you a certain way neurologically, is what you're saying. If I witness a murder of a loved one and it doesn't affect me that way neurologically, that's not objectiveness.
No, but
That's
it's going to be
subjectivity.
so the objectiveness happens at the level of the event, and it takes into account all those who are affected by the event. So we evaluate morality in my system from a third-party standpoint to the event.
Who's the third party?
It would just be an objective third party who could who could evaluate the brain states of all parties involved
Okay.
to determine exactly how much suffering was felt by each individual.
Okay, who is that third party, or what is it?
It's like a hypothetical third, like we can reduce suffering. Like we can tell, if we could tell how much suffering somebody was experiencing, then we would have an objective standard for what is right and wrong.
What would be your best argument or evidence for this third party?
It's vacuously true if you reject the third party.
What I'm saying is, you don't understand. That's why at the very beginning I said we're in the same boat.
Wait,
Your third
I don't.
party
So
that
the
you
thyou
can't logically, factually show
do you
me
wait? Do you understand that the
is
third
your
party?
same
that the-
definition of
wait,
my
do you
logical-
understand that the third party is like purely hypothetical? Do you know what a third party is?
Yeah, I know what a third party is.
Yeah.
but-
So
but
if we had for any
it-
situation,
it has
if
to
we
be
have
outside of hypothetical.
if we
it's
have an
regulating any
objective,
of this.
yeah. So we can just tell that based on like heuristics of how much suffering we know specific events to cause.
Caused differently for all different people, which is subjectivity.
No, it's not, because the objective standard is still going to be the suffering itself.
No, because it's not experienced the same way.
No, but it is, because we can tell this based just on the overcoming of the action potential threshold.
I don't think you're understanding the argument here.
I don't think you're understanding the science.
No, I've agreed with all your science. What I'm saying is you're trying to make the argument that there is this objectivity because of the neurons in our brain and the experiential suffering.
Because of
that
the
we
neural
endure.
pathways, yeah.
All right, right. Okay. Well, then, if we don't endure the suffering in the same way, then that is subjectivity. It's not objectivity.
Wait, so what do
Objectivity
you
means
think objectivity
outside of, well,
is?
objective, right? It's a standard
Oh,
that
oh, oh, no, wait, I reject
not
this. Wait,
dependent on
I don't
us.
reject that it's not experienced the same way. That suffering is going to be experienced universally the same way. That when an individual, wait, okay. I think
place
you're
a standard.
wait. So I think
To place a moral standard means that you have to do that.
you're confused about the argument.
Okay.
The argument, and it seems like
The
what
moral
you think.
argument.
Well, yeah, it seems like what you think my argument is that, well, if like Jimmy's family gets murdered, and Jimmy is pretty upset about it, he suffers from it, then that would be bad to Jimmy. Whereas, if James sees this situation and he doesn't really care, he doesn't get much suffering out of this at all, then that's not going to be bad to James. No, it's not subject dependent. If the murder of Jimmy's family causes suffering to Jimmy, then that's going to be a bad thing. Unless the amount of suffering that the murder of Jimmy's family prevented would have massively outweighed.
Okay. What was it? Was Jimmy and who?
Jimmy and James. That's not
Jimmy
my
and
argument. Wait,
James.
that's not my argument.
No,
But I
no.
think that's what you think
Well,
my
then
argument
what are you
is.
doing all this for if that wasn't your argument?
Well, yeah, because I think that's what you think my
You're saying
argument
Jimmy
is.
suffered.
Well, yeah. So I think that's what you think my argument is. What my argument actually is that it's going to be an objective fact that this murder was bad because it caused Jimmy to suffer. That's
your
all that
argument.
matters.
That's your argument.
Yes, it's
Okay.
objectively bad. It's not bad to Jimmy. It's not bad to James. It's bad objectively.
And who who sets that standard?
Just the fact that this suffering occurs. It is an objective fact whether this suffering occurs.
So where no suffering occurs, then there is no wrong done.
In certain situations, there are some things that I evaluate as good, like survival, for example.
You evaluate. That's
No, that I think is going to objectively map on to the human brain is going to be the desire to survive.
Subjective morality.
That's not. Wait. So who's the
some kind of word
subject? Wait,
scramble
who's
for
the subject?
objective.
Who's the subject?
Jimmy.
No. I
You
think
just
I
said it.
differentiated
You just said
this.
suffering
I
exists. and
differentiated
it's
this like
bad
8 or
because
9
Jimmy
times.
experienced it.
I think I differentiated this like 8 or 9 times. So for the claim that the murder of Jimmy's family is bad, that's an
Yes.
objective. It's not bad for Jimmy. It's
Okay.
bad.
Why
I'm gonna
is
say
it
this
bad?
again. I'm gonna say this again
Because
because I
it
think you're.
affected
Wait,
Jimmy.
I'll say this one more time. I'll say it 2 more times because I think you're confused. It's
Okay,
not
go
bad
ahead.
for Jimmy. It's
It's not
bad.
bad for Jimmy.
It's
Because
not
it
bad
affected
for
Jimmy?
Jimmy. It's bad.
Okay. Why is it bad?
It's bad because it caused suffering which is not outweighed
To who?
to Jimmy.
To Jimmy.
But the
Thank
fact
you.
that Jimmy suffered
You agreed with me. I
means
think we're
it's
getting
going to be an
somewhere.
objective. Wait, is Jimmy's suffering an objective fact?
I think we're getting somewhere.
Is Jimmy's suffering an objective fact?
Yes.
Perfect. Then that's the objective standard.
No, because it didn't affect James if his family were
It
murdered.
doesn't need to affect James.
Then the murder of James's family would not be bad because it didn't affect him.
It doesn't need to affect everyone. The
suffering?
fact that the objective fact that it caused Jimmy suffering, more suffering than was outweighed elsewhere, that is an objective fact about the world. Do you agree or disagree?
I'm disagreeing because
Wait.
you're
So you
saying-
think it's wait. So you think the
You're not
neural
making any
pathways, the
sense.
neural pathways that are activated in Jimmy's brain is not an objective fact?
Ian.
Do you think that brain states are not an objective fact?
Ian, I think you're short circuiting. I need you to just kind of bring it down. a notch.
Whoa! Let's just cool it in there. Let's not be a meta commentary Mary. What
No,
the
no.
question is it an objective fact? The specific neural pathways that are activated within Jimmy, is that going to be an objective fact?
No, because
Oh,
if
sure. Wait. So
James has
is the
same
amount of
brain,
is the amount of is the
James has the
amount
same brain,
wait
then
is
it's
the
not an
amount
objective fact if
is
it
the
doesn't affect him the
amount
same
is
way.
the amount is the amount of sodium ions to potassium ions present in a brain an objective fact?
Sure.
Perfect. Is the
you
neural
can't tie that to
pathways
morality.
is it an objective fact that these sodium ions to potassium ions, that the overcoming of a specific ratio or causes specific neural pathways to activate. Is that an objective fact?
No, because it doesn't. It's
Oh,
not
so then you
causing
just
everybody
reject
the
neuro.
same
So then
way.
you just reject
That's
neuroscience.
subjectivity.
Wait, so then
That's
you would just reject the
subjectivity.
field of neuroscience.
Listen, you're not listening to what I'm saying.
I
Is
already
that
know what
you're
you're. I think you're. I
arguing?
think you just don't know what the words you're saying
You're
are.
arguing that the same amount
Let's.
is going to be
How could we
is
do
going to be
this?
distributed to
So
everybody for murder. That's incorrect.
no, I didn't say that at all. That's not what I said.
Okay, well then you would agree
Wait,
with
could you
murder
do
is
you
wrong.
do you remember
but
do you remember
can't-
what
but you-
wait do
it's
you
only
wait
wrong for
wait
Jimmy.
wait do you remember what question I asked you?
About the neurons in our brain?
The last question that I asked you. Do you remember what the last question I asked you was?
About the sodium levels, potassium.
Nope. The one after that.
No.
Okay, gotcha. So you're you're grandstanding over a question that you don't even remember. Perfect. All right. So what I said, what I asked, is it an objective fact, an objective scientific fact that when there is a specific potassium to sodium ratio that is achieved within a brain, that there is a chemical reaction that causes a surge across a specific neural pathway? Is that an objective fact?
That's an objective fact.
Perfect. So the opposite of your answer. Earlier you said, no, it's not an objective fact. So is it going to be yes or no?
I must have. I'll concede. I misunderstood the question. So yes, that's an objective fact. That the way, just as you explained it, right? The certain amount comes to you, surge your brain. That's how you maybe feel suffering, right?
I don't think you. I don't think what happened is that you misspoke. I think you misthought. I think you thought
no.
one thing, but then you realized the obvious nonsensical entailments, and now you're
Let's back
backing
up
it
a little
up.
bit. Let's just back up a little bit because my argument is for objective morality. How we
Yes.
know something is objectively right or wrong, and your argument. And if I'm understanding it correctly, not the way I understand it, but the way you understand it, is that the murder of Jimmy's family is bad for Jimmy, right? Because of the way his neurons, or I'm not sure what the technical terms, but the way they surged up to his brain or whatnot, then objectivity means it would be the same across the board for James too, as he experienced that. That's an objective moral wrong. That would make it bad for James too. If it's not bad for James, but it is bad for Jimmy, that is subjectivity.
Wait, so is it wrong to kill Jimmy but not to kill James in your worldview?
That wasn't my argument.
Well, yeah, but so you're
No,
just
no,
saying
that's
that. Well,
your
you're saying that if the badness doesn't affect everyone, then it's like not objective. So I'm just gonna
No.
ask you. Well,
No,
that's like
I'm
your
saying-
exact. You're saying because the suffering doesn't affect James in the same way it affects Jimmy, then it's not an objective fact. So I would just ask you, in your worldview, when you kill James but don't kill Jimmy, is that going to be bad because the badness, the wrong thing, like the "thou shalt not kill" affected one party but not both?
Yeah, that's not murder, but
Yeah,
it is-
exactly. And in my case, it's suffering, right? So just because it happened to
What I'm
only
saying
one
is killing
wait,
is different from murder. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's fine. But just because it happened to one party doesn't mean that the wrongness didn't occur.
But it is. But do you understand what you're saying? It is. You're trying to use objectivity, but you're saying it's because of the level that we experience. But if those experiences are not the same, then how can they be objective?
Because the level is also objective. It's determined by another objective fact about the brain of like an overcoming of a specific action potential threshold.
That's
Like, and the
incorrect. That's
amount that it is
incorrect if it
overcome,
doesn't-
that
if-
it's like
if they don't
overcome in a loop.
experience the same thing.
No, but you do experience the same thing because of the intensity of the loop and how many times it's overcome.
You don't. That you can't
can I
make
get
that factual statement.
that's an empirical claim. Can I get a source?
You can't make that factual statement
Wait.
based on
You
having gone inside
You
of
just
Jimmy's
made
brain
you just made an
to figure
affirmative.
that out.
Wait, you just made an affirmative claim. Can I get a source?
You don't.
That the
What was
intensity
affirmative?
of suffering isn't determined by the continual overcoming of action potential thresholds. Can I get a source
Can
on
you
that?
make the argument that it has?
Wait. But you made the affirmative statement that that's not what happens. Can I get a source that says that?
No, because I'm not up to date on
Perfect.
neuroscience.
Awesome. So then you made a claim that you have no source for. So now we have the
think-
fact that the suffering occurs is an objective fact, and the fact that the intensity is also going to be rooted in an objective fact.
But you're saying, so am I right? And you're saying the intensity is going to be the same across the board because it's objective.
Yeah, it's going to objectively come down to how many times the action potential threshold is overcome.
Kind of explain that a little more in detail for me.
Yeah, so so there's like a ratio of the sodium to potassium. When it reaches like a certain level, it like bursts out and causes like the chemical reaction, returns to normal, then it like builds up if the stimulant or the thing that's like causing it to get like this is still there, and then bursts out. And like the number of times that it bursts out is going to determine the intensity of the feeling.
Okay, and this has been documented by who?
I can give you a source if you want.
Okay. The fact that everybody will experience that same level, that's the source you're giving me.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're talking about here. That's objectivity. Murder will affect everybody the same exact way, is what you're saying.
No, just that the amount that everyone is affected is going to be determined via these specific like neural pathways. That the level to which murder will affect different people is going to be different,
Okay.
but you can determine the level and calculate based on that.
Okay, let's back up. Okay, so let's say I agree with you. Okay, I'm agreeing with you on the level that you just described, right? That you can scientifically see, which I agree with you. What person suffered the most based off of their brain, correct?
You can determine whether someone's suffering and the amount, the level to
And
which
how much
someone
they
is suffering.
suffered. Good.
Yeah.
How much they suffered, right?
Yep.
That okay. So without let's bring it back to Jimmy and James. Without going into Jimmy and James's brain, you can't know that those amounts are the same for both of them. You can't make that factual statement, Ian.
Oh no, but it's going to be an objective fact which one suffered more, regardless of whether
Okay, good,
you.
good.
Wait,
We're on
wait,
the same
wait,
page.
wait, wait, hold on. But regardless of whether you can know it is a different question. Knowing
Okay.
something is always going to be subjective because the
affected-
only thing
right,
that
right.
know things are subjects.
We're agreeing.
So,
It affected
but
Jimmy
the
more.
fact itself still remains objective,
Hold on.
even if the method
Don't get
to
away
arrive
from
at
me
that
here.
fact is, in my worldview and in your worldview, going to be subjective.
Don't get away from me here. Jimmy, it experienced it in a certain way, and that's why it was bad. It's bad because it affected Jimmy and it caused him to suffer.
Yeah, because suffering is qualitatively bad. Yeah.
If it didn't cause James to suffer, how then is it bad?
Because it caused Jimmy to suffer.
Okay, so then let's kill James's family. I hate where this is going, but James's family is killed. James doesn't experience that at that level. Then how is it bad?
Oh, because he experienced some suffering. And suffering is bad.
It's you. You don't know
It's
that Jimmy would
qualitatively
experience
bad.
suffering. Jimmy might have killed him
Yeehaw.
himself.
Thank you so much, Mount. Appreciate it. No, suffering is qualitatively experienced as bad. In our brain, suffering is quite literally the bad feeling.
Based off of the subjectivity of Jimmy's emotions, James's
is.
emotions.
By this argument, you would also say that the sky is subjectively blue, based on
No, that's not the same
our
argument.
subjective interpretation of like our subjective experience of the blueness of the sky.
Don't you understand where you got caught?
No, I think you're
Yeah.
trying to declare victory because you can't actually point out the specific contradiction. If
What I'm
there's
saying,
a
the
if, there,
speci-
wait,
let
if
me-
there's a
can I
if there's a
explain the
contradiction, if there's a contradiction in my
explain the
worldview,
contradiction?
yeah. So can you give me the P and
Can I
not P?
explain the
Wait,
contradiction?
yeah. I don't. You should just be able to give me the proposition and the opposite of the proposition that I'm affirming.
here we go.
And I'll tell you
All
which
right.
one of those I reject.
Here's the proposition that you said. And forgive me because I'm not a neuroscientist. Like I don't know the language the way you do as a neuroscientist. You're saying that the chemical that is shot into the brain that causes suffering based on the level of how much you suffered, correct? That is the baseline for how we determine right and wrong because it caused Jimmy to suffer. We do not know if that same action of chemicals going to the brain is going to affect James when his family is murdered. We can't know that. You
does
can't
it-
just assume that James is going to feel bad for his family being murdered. He might have murdered him.
Oh yeah, so
not
then I would
suffering for
just
James.
so we would trace this on to the suffering of all individuals involved, including the family who
That
got
wasn't
murdered.
your argument, Ian. That wasn't your argument. I'm afraid.
No,
you've
no.
lost
So
and
no.
you
My
can't even see it.
argument has always been this, but because you're changing the hypothetical, we now need
I'm
to
afraid
expand
you've lost and
it
you
to
can't even see it.
accurately. Wait, we need to expand it to accurately encompass my position. My position, at its core, is that suffering is bad. We need to evaluate the situation holistically. That's the argument. That's always been the argument. So we would need to look at the suffering of the victims and also the way that this act affects everybody who is affected by it. But we're just focusing on Jimmy and James as to not do the analysis across like 300 different people.
Everybody who is affected by it is a subjectivity. It is subjectively affected somebody. I'm arguing for an objective moral standard. Murder is bad all the way across the board.
But the fact that it affected them in this way, the fact that it affected them in this way is an objective fact. So it is objective. But if you want to talk about subjective, your morality is literally determined by a subject, God.
No, I believe God exists outside of time, space, and matter. But let's
So
not get off the point.
wait. So is God a You already conceded that God does not exist outside of
Ian,
time.
it's okay to not know everything.
Wait. I've answered every single one of your questions.
You've gotten it wrong.
Wait. So what's the contradiction in my worldview then? Otherwise, if you can't point out the specific contradiction, then we're moving on to your morality, because I've already explained my morality to you. I've already explained my morality to you quite deeply.
And it's an illogical one.
Wait. So if it's illogical, point out the contradiction. Wait. So if it's illogical, point out the contradiction. If it's illogical, point out the contradiction. Go for it. Go ahead.
Okay. Can I speak?
Yeah. Wait. So first of all, do you know what a contradiction
I know
is?
what logical and contradiction is.
Yeah.
Sure.
So wait, what's the formal form of a logical contradiction? Because last time you didn't give me one. I just got to make sure.
You make an argument that is not true by the premises that you made.
That's an invalid argument. Do you know what a contradiction is?
Meaning that you made a claim, right? And based off of the evidence, that claim is not true.
That's not what a contradiction is. A contradiction takes a very specific logical form. Do you know what that form is, or would you like me to explain it to you?
Go ahead.
So a logical contradiction takes the form a proposition and the negation of the proposition. You're going to have a P and a not P, and they need to be the exact opposite of each other in order to have a contradiction. So like God is all good, and also God is not all good. God is all knowing, and also like God is not all knowing. Those would be examples of contradictions, because you have the proposition and then you have the negation of the proposition affirmed at the same time. So what proposition and its negation do I affirm at the same time?
You proposed that
thank you, or critical skills. Thank you so much for the subscription. Let's get a W critical skills in the comment section. Welcome to the community.
You proposed that across the board, you said that based off of the evidence of all the people we know, that an action of suffering affected people in a chemical way the same way.
I never made that claim.
Well, it sounded like you made that claim, because what you're saying is
you just weren't listening.
Is that there was this chemical reaction to Jimmy, and that's what made it wrong, is that he suffered.
Yeah, but the specific amount that chemical reaction occurs is going to change based on the individual, but the amount is also going to be an objective fact about the brain.
Would there be, then you would not agree that somebody cannot be affected by the same action?
Obviously.
Okay, so then how could you call murder wrong if it's not wrong across the board? It's only wrong for those that it affects.
Because it's going to cause suffering to someone.
Maybe. That's my point.
Could you give me the scenario of the murder where it causes suffering to nobody?
James,
and even in that case, well, yeah. So do you think that like murdering someone causes them suffering?
Probably not. If they're murdered lights out, they didn't feel it.
You think murder doesn't cause suffering? So could you give me the example? Could you show me like literally any evidence at all of a murder which caused people zero suffering? Could you find that for me?
No.
Perfect. So murder causes suffering. Awesome.
That's okay. Listen, no, because I don't know everybody. I don't know everybody, or
I'm not asking about everyone. I'm asking about one single case. I need one single case of a murder that doesn't cause suffering.
I would need you to have one single case where that, murder affected everyone
I'm
the
asking you
same
for a
way.
standard. Now you're burden shifting.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, wait, so if you're not burden shifting, then give me the next words out of your mouth should be the case, the one single
You're
case.
making
Wait,
listen,
that's not the words that I'm looking for. It should be the case of the murder that did not cause suffering. What was the murder that didn't cause suffering? Could you point that out to me?
what was the murder that did cause suffering?
Fucking all of them.
Give me the case.
The Jack the Ripper cases. I bet the people who were getting slaughtered were probably suffering quite a bit.
You bet is not a factual argument. Did you interview those people and understand the way they suffered? Yes or no?
I think it's reasonable to assume that these people were suffering. That
You're
the people getting murdered by Jack
subjecting
the
that.
Ripper were
Do you understand what
suffering.
you just did? You are now making a claim that is not factual based off of evidence, Ian.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what we're
fine.
talking
So
about.
okay, that's a-okay. But after I provide you this source, wait, oh fuck, you burden shifted. You literally
No, I
burden
didn't.
shifted. Yeah, wait, because I'm
No.
asking you because I asked you for the murder that doesn't cause suffering.
I
And
don't
then
have one, but you don't have one of
passed-
the murder
Oh
that
wait,
did
wait.
cause
So wait.
suffering
So if
either.
wait. Bet me $50 that I can't get you one within like the next 10 minutes.
No, I mean, you can Google anybody that can say anything. So that's not factual evidence.
I'll give you a
That's
scientific study
subjective
on that.
evidence. That's subjective evidence.
Wait. I'll give you a scientific study on it.
No, you can't, because science has not interviewed every single person in the world who's ever suffered from murder or not suffered from someone being murdered.
Well, yeah,
Do
but
you understand
all I
what I'm
need.
saying?
Well, yeah, but it's so we use like the studies to indicate what a general trend is. The point of studies is that you don't study
No,
each individual
sir, but
person. You
but
learn
that-
rules based on the justification.
But that's not an
And I
absolute.
agree you can fake
Ian.
laugh, but what you're not going to do, and what you'll never
That's
be
not
able to do,
absolute.
is give me the example of the murder that didn't cause suffering. I'm still
Just
waiting.
Just like you can't give me the example of murder that did cause suffering because you don't know if. Do you understand what I'm saying? You haven't done that research. You can Google anything you want, but
Yeah.
How are
Oh,
you
wait.
trusting
This
it?
is awesome. This is awesome. So, logistic regression analysis found that homicide survivors were at risk for past year post-traumatic stress disorder, major depressive episodes, and drug abuse and dependence. So, do
right.
you want this study?
no. But listen, let's
Yeah. Perfect.
let's
Wait.
say,
So it sounds like getting murdered.
let's see if we can agree on something.
Wait. No, you're gonna give me your source. You're gonna tell
have a
me what the
source.
murder was. You're gonna tell me what the murder was that doesn't
don't have
cause
a source.
suffering.
I
Yeah,
don't
perfect.
have a
Wait,
source.
so your claim is nonsense. So let's get back on point. So so it's bad because it always causes suffering. Murder is
Let me
bad
get on
because
your
it
level.
always causes suffering. Now
Let
that
me
you've
get on
been
your level.
folded like a chair on this issue, let's move on to your moral standard. So
Okay, let's say
my
let's stay
question
on
for
your moral
you,
standard.
my
Let's stay on
question for
your moral
you,
standard.
my
Can we stay
question
on
for
your moral
you.
standard?
Wait. You just got folded on my moral standard.
I
Let's go
didn't
to your
get
moral
folded.
standard. Yes,
I'm
you
not
did. You just
conceding yet.
conceded in front of everyone.
No, I didn't.
You got folded on it. So let's
I
move
said
on to
I
your
don't-
moral.
I
Wait,
said I
yeah,
don't have the case.
you got dog walked on it. Wait, yeah. So then give me the case of the murder that didn't cause suffering.
I don't have one.
Perfect. So if God raped a child, would it be good?
Let's stay on your moral
If
standard.
God raped a child, would it be good?
Let's stay on your moral
If
standard. for a
God
second.
raped a child, would
God
it be
can't
good?
rape a child
Why not?
because God can't rape a child. Can you
Oh,
show
wait.
me?
That's a
God could
circular
rape a
argument.
child?
So you're just saying that like X is true because of X.
Can you show me the case in where God raped a child?
No, but it's about potentiality,
Oh,
possibility.
now you don't have.
It's about it's about possibility.
Now, well,
It's
there's a
wait, so certainly
possibility that
it's
somebody
within
didn't get
certainly
affected by murder,
it's with
Ian.
wait,
You
wait,
see,
does
you're not
God
understanding your own
have the
argument.
oh yeah, Mary, perfect. Yeah, Mary. We'll go with Mary.
You're not understanding your own argument.
Yeah, let's
stay on
do
your moral standard
yeah,
for a
no,
second.
Mary's great. Mary's a great example.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's stay on your moral standard.
Wait, no. Wait, so if God raped a
No,
child,
prove
would
to
it
me
be
your
good?
moral standard.
If God raped a child, would it be good?
Google for me.
I already proved my moral standard. You
Google
got
for
folded
me.
on it. You conceded on it.
Listen.
If God raped a child, would it be
Google
good?
for me.
If
how
God,
many,
wait, if you're Pastor, I'm
many
gonna give you 3 attempts.
transgenders
I'm gonna give
suicide?
you. Oh my God, bro's getting transphobic.
No,
yeah,
listen.
yeah. Wait, so
Google for
yeah,
me.
that's fine. If you want to get, if you're
So,
coming to, but I'll warn you.
if trans people
I'll warn you.
are
If
being
you're
murdered
going,
or killing themselves,
if you're going to home base, you're getting fucked, buddy. You do
No,
not want to go to this
listen.
argument with me.
Listen.
So the reason why trans people
You
kill
just
themselves
made
is
my
because they
argument
get
for me,
bullied
Ian.
egregiously. Do you want a source for that claim?
You just made my argument for me.
Oh, and I agree. You can say
If-
that I made your argument for you.
If the suicide of a transgender person caused suffering, then that is bad, morally bad. That's what you
Yeah,
just
and
stated.
trans people only kill themselves because of the immense suffering that's been inflicted upon them. This suffering that's inflicted
who?
upon them by transphobes, people
Show me
like
the
you.
evidence.
Yeah, I'll show you that's like a super. You do not want to go here with me. I'll give you the study in like literally 30 seconds.
But you're saying that being trans is bad because it causes suffering when
I didn't say
somebody
being
kills
trans is
themselves.
bad.
Sure.
I
because
said
you just
bullying
said murder
trans
was bad
people. I
because it caused
said
suffering.
bullying trans people is bad.
Murder
That's
is
the
bad
claim.
because it causes suffering.
Well,
So
also,
if
wait.
being
Why
trans
does it
suicide,
causes
it's
suffering?
bad.
Yeah, no, but the reason these people kill themselves is because of the suffering they're already going through.
You're outside of your logic.
Wait, so let's do this. So the study is suicide and suicidal behavior among transgender persons. I don't know why you would want to go here with me. The
You
results.
made the argument for me. I'm not going
The
there.
suicide attempt rate among transgender persons ranges from 32% to 50% across the board. Gender-based victimization, discrimination, bullying, violence, being rejected by family, friends, and community, harassment by intimate partners, family members, police, and public, discrimination and ill treatment at healthcare centers are the major risk factors that influence the suicidal behavior among transgender people. Do you want more statistics?
No, what I'm saying is you just.
Oh, yeah, perfect. No. I didn't.
If
Wait, so what's the contradiction? What's the contradiction in my worldview?
If something caused suffering, it's bad. That's what you said.
Yeah, so I could say that the trans person killing themselves is bad, but what's much worse is going to be the level that they were bullied. So in this scenario, I'm going to say that the transphobe is probably also going to bear moral responsibility for this because it's unexpected. I would actually say that the moral agent responsible for the suffering caused by suicide in these instances is just going to be the transphobes who bullied the trans person to suicide. So
the
I'm just going to say that
trans person
I would
committed
just end up concluding that the
If the trans
wrongness
person
that the
committed suicide
wrongness
and
that
their
the
family
wrongness
was
that
hurt
took place here is
and
going to be the
suffered
people
from
that
it,
bullied them. That
then
all
it
the
was bad to
suffering,
kill
that all the
themselves.
suffering, that all the suffering of the trans person's suicide,
Hey, don't get
the
hot. It's
bullies
okay.
are going to be morally responsible for it.
Don't get hot. Listen, if
Wait,
the trans
you think I'm
person,
hot?
Based
Let's
off
not
of
let's
your
not get horny
logic-
here, buddy.
Based off of your logic.
Wait, let's cool it down.
Okay, based off of your logic, that if a trans person killed himself and then caused suffering for their family, then that trans person was wrong morally for killing
The suicide
themselves.
itself was bad, but the people in the wrong are
No,
the people who
that's
drove
not
the
what you
trans
said
person
about
to the
murder.
suicide.
It affected Jimmy.
Yeah, wait. So the
so
murder,
murder was
the
wrong.
the murder itself was bad, but how we assign the blame for a
So you're
specific
off of your
murder
objective
is going to be
standard?
a more nuanced conversation.
So you're off of your objective standard.
In what
It's
way?
okay.
What's the
You're
wait? So what's the inconsistency?
The inconsistency is you said if it causes suffering for somebody, it is bad. The
If
killing
it causes
of
more
yourself-
suffering than it prevents.
That's not what you said.
That's the argument,
said
that we're going
if-
to evaluate it based on whether
Now
an
you're gonna
action causes
now you're
suffering
gonna
versus
redefine
whether
your
it reduces
terms after You
suffering.
made this beautiful.
This
argument
has
for your
always
terms.
been and Pastor,
That
I
is
agree.
not what you
I
said,
agree.
man.
I agree you haven't been listening, but that's been my exact argument, that it's an
Did you
analysis
or
of
did
whether
you
an
not
action
say-
causes suffering or doesn't cause
Did
suffering,
you
and that
or
you
did
should
you
go with
not
the
say
action that causes the
that-
least suffering.
Did you or did you not say that the action caused these chemicals in your brain to fire and that's suffering, then whatever caused that is bad? Did you say that or not?
I sure didn't. It's bad if it
did.
it's wait, and I agree you can put words into
Yeah, and
my
I've
mouth.
won.
And I agree. Oh, and I
I've won.
agree you can
And I
declare
don't-
victory. I agree
don't
you can
take
declare victory after
pride.
running away from every single question that
I
I've
don't
asked
take
you.
pride in
I
winning.
agree. You literally
trying to help
conceded
you to
earlier.
understand the
Wait,
inconsistency of your illogical argument.
Pastor, calm down. Wait, so
No,
what's the
I'm not- I'm
what's
calm.
the inconsistency? Break it down for me.
I just did and you denied it.
Wait, it sounds like you're about to be a zooming Zeke. Can you tell me where my principle isn't being applied equally, or would you prefer to run?
I will. You said out of your mouth that when suffering is caused by the chemical reaction in your brain that fires off, right? And that we all experience that. And if that is experienced, then the experiential thing is bad. Just like we don't have to know that the sky is blue.
So no, I said that suffering
We all
itself is
experience
bad.
it.
Wait. So the suffering itself is
No.
bad. These events are bad because they cause suffering and do not
got you,
reduce
Ian.
another part of
It's
suffering.
okay.
Wait, my claim, and I agree. We
It
can
is
like
okay
posture.
to be wrong.
I
on
don't wait. I don't
something.
know. I don't know why you
not
think
perfect.
grandstanding and declaring victory is going to help you out here. Let's just
Because
get back.
you're not
Let's just get back to the argument here. That's not my
It's
claim.
okay.
Wait,
It's okay.
wait. Let's not,
Ian,
buddy.
Literally, I would be your friend, buddy.
Wait,
It's okay
let's
to be
let's
wrong
just
on
let's just
something.
stop grandstanding, okay? Let's not be a grandstanding Gary. Let's just be an argument
I'm
engaging
not trying to pridefully. I'm
Ethan.
just saying you were caught in a logical inconsistency and you can't see it, but that's okay.
Oh no. So there's no logical inconsistency. You're just gaslighting. Let's
I'm
not
not
be a gaslighting Gary and
I
a
just
grandstanding Gerald. Let's just be a
back
good
to you.
faith. What's another G name?
I just regurgitated back
let's
to
just
your
let's just be
own
a good faith
proposition.
Goggins.
I
That's
just
not my wait. So
regurgitated
my
to you
my
your own
position.
proposition, and now
Yeah.
you're
Okay.
trying
That's
to
fine. That's fine.
backtrack.
So I think that this is like a nuanced distinction. So my position is that suffering itself is bad. That doesn't mean that every event that causes any amount of suffering is bad, but rather that badness is going to be necessarily determined at the level of suffering.
So if the level of suffering was super high for the trans's mother, it's still not bad.
So the action itself would be bad. However, the
Thank
moral
you.
responsibility for this would be on the bullies, the people who caused the trans person to take their own life in the first place.
You just said the action itself was bad. It caused harm.
No. So
suffering, that is wrong.
the event was bad, but that doesn't mean the person, the specific actor, that the trans person themselves did something bad.
They did because it caused suffering to their mother. That's what your argument was.
The event was itself bad, but the moral responsibility for this badness, because of course some actions happen under coercion, and the moral responsibility is not easily figured out. So in this scenario, I'd say that the bullies had the moral responsibility for bullying someone to suicide. Would you disagree?
I would say that you lost in the argument because it was illogical.
Gotcha. Wait, so what? Can you tell me what the
tried to make
question?
a truth claim,
Can you tell
and
me?
now
Can
you
you tell me
can't
what
back it
question? So you're not going to answer the question. So
you
do
tried
you
to
even?
make-
Were you listening? Do you remember what
You
the question
tried
was?
to
Do you remember
make
what the question was?
A moral argument.
Do you
and
remember
then
what the
you
question
failed.
was? What was the question, Pastor?
I don't
What
have
was
to
the
answer because
question?
you failed.
What
at
was
the
the
moral
question? Well,
argument.
wait. So that's a-okay. So are you gonna answer the question or not?
I'm saying.
And I agree. I agree. You can declare victory and like
logical
posture as if you've
on
done
your
anything.
argument.
And I agree. You can declare victory and
That's all I'm
posture
saying.
as if you've done anything before, as you set up your departure, as you're trying to be a legging Larry, I imagine.
What's a legging
but
Larry?
can
I don't know
you?
what that is.
You're about to run, is what I suspect.
I'm not going anywhere.
That's
We're having a
perfect.
good
Yeah. So then, would
conversation.
you mind answering my question?
What was the
You don't even. So you don't even remember. You don't even
remember.
remember. You weren't listening
I
to the
don't think you
question.
can
You don't even
explain
remember
the
it.
question I asked you first, and you're trying to.
I
defend
already
it by asking me
answered
more
the question.
questions.
I answered the question perfectly. Which question of yours did I not
The question
answer?
of that you said objectively, morally, if somebody caused suffering to somebody else, then that is bad. That's
Do you
what
think? Wait, do you think that
said.
that's a question?
No, I asked you if that was a question. Then you started backpedaling when
That's not.
before,
Wait, that
was your
statement. The statement
argument.
that you just said isn't a question. That's just a statement. But that's not my argument. My argument is that
It's not
suffering is
anymore
bad.
because you got caught in it.
No. My argument has always been that suffering is bad. My opening line. Do you remember what my opening line was, or do you want me to remind
I
you?
agree with this commentator.
Wait,
What is this debate about anymore?
Oh, that's fine. If you're a big comment
can't-
reader, if you're a
No,
big
I
comment
just saw
reader,
the
then
one.
that's
What is this
totally
debate about
fine.
anymore? Like,
So
I think they
let's
matter. I think
wait.
the
Let's
comments matter.
I don't really care what the commenters have to say.
Okay. I mean, I'm just saying I saw it. That's all. I'm acknowledging that I saw it. That's all.
Okay, that's fine.
So-
Yeah, that's fine.
so,
If you want
I can't-
if you're a comment reader, then
Listen.
read these comments.
I think
You're
logically.
embarrassing yourself.
I don't think so. I think logically, right? There's this.
Drop a one in chat if you think the pastor is embarrassing himself.
I think logically, the understanding of where I was getting at, that there is a moral objective standard. You feel that morals are bad, right? And it can't be subjective. It can't be the fact that it
Bro,
caused
this is
somebody-
humiliating for you. Look at all those ones.
It caused somebody.
You've embarrassed your
something-
entire position.
Ian, come on, man. We're trying to have a discussion.
That's
you don't
fine.
have to attack me.
Well, no,
thought we
because
were
you've
having,
been
like, a
wait.
logical
It's not.
conversation.
And this is like the classic Christian switcheroo, right? You've
No.
embarrassed yourself and you've attacked
been
me.
nothing but
You've
cordial
attacked
the
me
whole
this
time.
entire time. You brought it
How
to
have I
trans
attacked
people,
you?
I suspect, because you're transphobic.
No, I didn't say that. You're saying that.
Yeah, wait, so then why did you bring up trans people? What was the relevance?
I was helping you to understand the fact that your argument was illogical by using something that I thought would help us both understand, right? Because what I'm trying to tell you is that there is this moral standard, and that you're trying to take the moral standard in a subjective way and prove it objectively through experiences. And I'm telling you that an objective moral standard doesn't work that way. It's wrong because it's objectively wrong.
Well,
Not because I
you
have
really chilled
experienced
on
it
out
as
there.
well.
Yeah. So and I told you, I explained this to you like pretty clearly, if I'm not mistaken, just that these things are going to be bad because they're qualitatively experienced as bad. But we've already talked. We've beaten my moral system to death. So
I agree. Yeah.
just in like the way we've talked about it, but
I
it's
think your
still
moral
it remains
system,
victorious insofar as you can't provide the contradiction to me. So
I
my
would
question for
say,
you, my question for you, if God permitted slavery, would it be morally permissible?
so that would come down to the argument of permitted, right? God has permitted evils in this world, sure.
No, but if he like gives his express like verbal approval of slavery, does that make it fine?
I think God has permitted evil in this world. I would agree with you
No,
on
no,
that.
but
God
if
has
he
permitted
verbally
evil.
says that you as an individual can go and do this evil action, not like you have the free will to, just as you, if you as an individual can go and do this evil action, then would that be a bad thing?
I'm saying God has permitted evil in the world.
But if he gave his express verbal permission, that's fine. We can just take it to the verse itself. If God's all good, why did he say that slavery was fine?
Where does God say that slavery is
Leviticus
fine? Read it for
25,
me.
44 through 46.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Read it.
Oh, yeah, you want to read it? Let's read it. Do you have a Bible that you prefer?
Yeah. I have a Bible that I don't prefer, but if you
Is
don't
it
use
is
like
it NIV? Has to be
you
NIV.
can use the NIV, that's fine.
No, that's okay. I understand the NIV hate. I like NRSVUE.
No, you can use the ESV. Let's use that,
Okay.
which is like middle ground. I'm not real big on the ESV, but you're not probably either, so we can.
Yeah, I think ESV is fine. ESV Leviticus 25. I don't know why my Wi-Fi is being terrible right now. Yeah. As for your male and female slaves whom you may have, you may buy you may buy male and female slaves from among the nations around you. You may also buy from the strangers who sojourn with you and their clans that are with you, who have been born in your land, and they may be your property. You may bequeath them to your sons after you to inherit as possessions forever. You may make slaves of them, but over your brothers, the people of Israel, you shall not rule one another ruthlessly. So was it a good thing for God to give his express verbal approval of slavery?
Can you give me the exact definition of slave that's used in that passage? Is it indentured servitude or is it slave
No,
without
it's like
any kind
owning
of?
people as possessions.
But indentured servitude can be the same exact thing.
Yeah, so there was indentured servitude
Correct.
for the fellow Israelites, but for the people from the nation around you, this was not indentured servitude.
You could have bought
It
somebody's
says
debt.
property.
You could have bought somebody's debt from somebody else. That's
Wait,
indentured
okay, so what do you
servitude.
think? You may bequeath them to your sons after you inherit as a possession forever. What's a possession forever? Is
I
that
think you-
indentured servitude or is that like some different thing?
I think you're not understanding the text at all. I think you're trying to assume that God is using language to say that they will always own them. I think they will always own them until their debt is paid up. That's the interpretation of the
So
passage.
wait, do you think when God said forever, you think that by forever what is actually meant is until their debt is paid up?
I think if you go look at the Hebrew word that he used there, forever, you can look that up. Like
Yeah, let's do that.
what's the context of what he's using right there in Leviticus? Because there's many different terms there, right?
Yeah, let's look up the Hebrew. Why not?
The Hebrew word in that passage, not just the Hebrew word in general.
Yeah.
But do you get what I'm saying contextually or no?
Yeah, that's fine. Contextual doesn't help you out here. This is like a
Contextually-
super easy slam dunk of God permitting
Contextually,
slavery.
if they owe so much debt, and I'm just making this argument for fun because you wanted to bring it up. If they owe so much debt, right, that it's going to take them, let's say, a lifetime to pay off, then forever for their life, then that would be the correct term. If you're 86 years old and I collect your debt, then forever for you is probably not going to be that long.
Yeah, so the Hebrew word is I don't know how to fucking say this, but it does translate to forever.
Yeah. Did you hear my argument though?
No, what? Olam.
What I'm saying is, if I acquire a slave that is indentured servitude,
It's not indentured servitude. It's forever.
Oh, well, let's say that's what I'm trying to tell you. If
Oh,
you're
yeah, sure.
86 years old,
Let's say the
forever
verse
for
was
you is not
different.
going
Let's
to be
say the
that
verse
long.
was completely different. Let's say the verse
Forever
is
for you is
actually
not
God
that long.
commanding charity. Then is the verse still bad?
I didn't say the verse was bad. I'm saying that indentured servitude would, if you're 86 years old, forever for you is not going to be that long. You might not have the means to pay off the debt within your lifetime. That's forever, Ian.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, luckily, so it's
So what's your argument you're trying to make?
yeah, just that like owning someone forever. Yeah, sure. So I think owning
For the
someone as a
rest of their
slave.
indentured
Do you wait? So
servitude?
do you think it's morally acceptable to own an 86-year-old as a slave?
I think it's morally acceptable to pay your debts off.
Wait, but this can you find me the word indentured servitude or debt anywhere in here?
Yeah, there's a lot of indentured servants
Yeah,
that
where
were
does
used back in the
where
day.
in these verses does it say indentured servitude or debt or
Because the
anything
word
like that?
slave was the same across the board. It's
But it
like that
doesn't.
in a
There's
lot of
no
languages.
indication. There's no indication that they will ever be released, and
The
there's pretty
word love
strong
for
indication
us,
that they will never be released.
listen, the word love for us, there's all kinds of different words for love in other languages. Does that make sense? So I can say love, and then if
So
you're
wait.
understanding
So
it through
what's
the English
what
language,
when they say forever? When they say forever, what do they mean by that?
for the remainder of the slave's life.
Yeah, perfect. So the Bible is saying that you can own a slave for life. That's
If they're
not
an
indentured
indentured servant, I
servitude.
think that's how I would interpret that
Wait.
passage.
That's not indentured servitude. That's slavery. If you own
Sure it
someone for
is.
their
If they
life,
own
that's
if they owe a
slavery.
lifetime of money, sure it is.
No, but this doesn't say if they owe a lifetime of money, you can own
You're going
them
to
for their
be
lifetime. It
you're
says you
going to
can
be
own them
forever in
forever,
debt.
regardless. Do you understand that? I don't know if you know this, but you're muted. Itachi, thank you so much for the subscription. Pastor, are you there? Are you about to be a zooming Zeke? You gonna run? If you're off the app, I can't hear you, by the way. I don't know if you know that. Pastor. Pastor. I don't know. I can't pronounce that word. Don't bully me. Pastor, return to the app. Stop being a coward. Come back. Come back. Running's not going to save you. It's just going to make your position look bad. Come back. Pastor. He's looking it up. Oh, bro ran. We got a running Randall. Nah, I got to read all of them out. I accept your surrender, by the way, Pastor. Oh, wait, what's this? Oh, fuck. Okay, wait. So you're a, I have so many DMs. I'm just trying to find it. Okay, yeah. You're in Breaking Brandon. You are a careening Christopher. You are a dipping Daryl. You are an exiting Edward. You're a fleeing Flanders. You are a getaway Glenn. You are a hurrying Henry. You are a jumping Jeffrey. You are a leaving Lawrence. You are a moving Morton. You are a parting Peter. You are a quickening Quinton. You are a running Ryan. You are a sprinting Stephen. You are a trembling Terrence. You are an unraveling Ulysses. You are a vanishing Vernon. You're a wheeling Walter. You're a zooming Zeke. Drop your favorite one of those in the comment section. I don't know. I think I'm partial to like wheeling Walter. That's a banger. Folded like a chair, scrambled like an omelet. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends. Let's try to get this live out in front of as many people as we can. If you're in that guest request box, only join if you are 18 or older. Hightailing Harry, banger. Lauren, thank you so much for the subscription. Let's get a W, Lauren, down in that comment section. Appreciate that. Also, make sure that you believe in the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. If you don't believe in those, then I don't really want to talk to you. Ruined like a souffle. True. Nico, appreciate it. Thank you. Who is that? Target Zero. Thank you so much for the subscription. Appreciate that. Let's get a W Target Zero in the comment section. Hey, I accept your surrender. Folded like a chair, scrambled like an omelet, ruined like a souffle, baked like a potato. Get your ankles absolutely broken. You will never debate again. Hmm. Scrambled like a chair, folded like an omelet. Hmm. Hmm. Damn. When will these? Hey, what's up? How's it going? How old are you? Oh,
H-O-T-T-O-G-O.
Gio. You're probably like 13. You're like a minor, but I do appreciate you coming up here. That's fun. That's joyous. That's whimsical. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
God.
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, how old are you?
I'm 29.
Yeah, okay. And what religion are you?
I'm a Christian.
Okay. So what's your strongest argument for the existence of God that does not involve personal experience?
Yeah, so do you feel like you want a friend that is a robot, or do you want like the friend to actually choose you as a friend?
Probably like, I don't know which one gives better head. Hey, up top, down
No.
low. Let's fucking go.
No, so what I'm trying to say is, it's just like a dog. So I just fell in love with a dog. I used to not like dogs, and um so I could basically,
Wait,
would you want,
I'm so sorry. Are you driving?
no, my girlfriend is. I'm driving
Oh,
across
okay.
country right now, so
Gotcha.
yeah, I just feel really strongly about it, so I'm like
Yeah, that's chill.
gathering my love.
Okay, that's fine. So,
I
well, I
just
mean,
want to
I don't.
respectfully.
I think it's like a weird question because in my personal life I don't believe in free will, so I don't really know what it means to like freely choose something. So I'm probably not a good person to ask that question to.
You don't believe in free will, that we have free will to do
No.
whatever we want?
No, I think we're always going to do the thing that we desire the most to do.
Okay, so like if you had a dog, do you like dogs by any chance?
Yeah, I like dogs. Think dogs are great.
Dogs are great. So doesn't it feel good when we're like doing acts of kindness with our dogs and taking them out, and then they
I've never
start to
had a
love you?
dog, but I could imagine. Sure, it probably feels great. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So doing something nice for somebody, and then they like reciprocate in love. Like, isn't that a good? Do you believe like that's like a good feeling?
Uh, Fuck. I think I'm just gonna run like the free will offense on this. The fact that in your worldview you have free will is probably like evidence that God doesn't exist. This is because we could have a much stronger relationship with God. That is not just because we're robots. Ashley, thank you so much for the $3. For I feel like it's scrambled like an egg, not omelet. It is, but then I fucked up the joke once, said omelet. But let's get a W, Ashley, in the comment section. Appreciate that. So I want you to imagine a world where every single person, instead of free will, they just have a really strong desire to learn true things. All they want to do is to just learn true things. So because they want to learn true things, they all inevitably come to the conclusion that God exists because of their love and desire to learn more and more new true things. And because they know God and they know that God is the most lovable being, they all come to love God because he is the most lovable being. This world has no free will, but would be preferable to our world just on the basis that everybody in this world loves God because of a genuine understanding, which is better than our world for two reasons. One, lots of people love God with no understanding. They believe in him because they're scared of hell. They don't genuinely actually love him or understand him. And second, there's tons of people in our world who, in your worldview, would be going straight to hell. So the fact that we have free will instead of just a really strong desire to learn true things that inevitably leads all of us to the truth of God is going to be evidence that God doesn't exist.
Well, do you believe in love?
Yeah, I experience love.
Where does love come from?
I think love is like a chemical reaction.
Okay, what is a chemical reaction?
I'm not really sure how to answer that question.
Okay, so I don't really know how to really take the chemical reaction thing, and I'm not saying this condescending either. I really am not sure, but so God is love, and so when we're experiencing love with other people, that's from our Creator. Like, so we recognize that as love, you know. So I'm gonna go back to what I was saying about.
Wait. Do you have literally any response to the argument that the existence of free will would mean that God doesn't exist? Literally any response at all? This is a proof. So I'll just ask you this. Would God prefer the world that I described or a world where infinite holocausts happen every single day?
Say that again.
So would God prefer a world where everyone has free will, but there are infinite holocausts every single day, or the world that I described where no one has free will, but everyone comes to love God because they love true things, and they just like learn true things, but nobody has free will because instead of that they have just like this deep, impossible to get rid of, very strong love for true things? Which world would God prefer?
I mean, I'm not God, so I'm not really sure how to answer that question. But so in order to have perspective, right, you need to go through a, good, bad. You need to see what's a normal day, what's a bad day, what's a good day. I go back to like what's a stuffy nose. Like, have you ever not had a stuffy nose, had a stuffy nose, and then you ended up clearing out your stuffy nose and then feeling the relief, like, whoa, I feel so much better because I had that stuffy nose before, and now I appreciate it so much more that I don't have a stuffy nose.
Wait, so just to be clear, you're not sure, you have no idea if God would prefer a world with infinite holocausts that happen every single day, or a world where everyone loves each other and loves God. You have no idea which of these two worlds God would prefer.
So I actually don't, because I'm not God.
You have no idea. You have no inkling.
So I mean, in my understanding, like, it wouldn't be good to have Holocaust. It's not good for those things to happen at all. But the free will thing, I mean, God loves us so much that we literally can become like God if we like, or whatever. If we can either try to be, self-serving and be the king of the world, or you could follow
Thanks,
God
Lauren. Appreciate it.
and love one another. If that makes sense.
But like, which of these two worlds would God prefer?
I don't know what God would prefer.
Okay, that's fine.
I think
So
God
I'm
prefers
still.
the world.
I'm still waiting for an argument. I think that's
so-
itself is crazy. That like God obviously doesn't want the like infinity holocausts to happen every single day. It seems like something God probably doesn't want, in my
God
opinion.
definitely doesn't want those things to happen, but I'm not God, so I can't like answer that question.
You just did. So then
No,
God
I'm
prefers
saying-
the world with no free will. Perfect.
I'm saying I'm leaning on my own understanding, which God says to not do is to lean on my own understanding. I really wouldn't know because I'm not God.
That's absurd. You have no idea if God would prefer infinite holocausts or a world full of love. You have no idea.
Oh, a world full of love, of course.
Perfect. So then God would prefer the world with no free will.
No, but God gave us free will, so like that's why.
But, and yes, yeah, exactly, and that's a contradiction. That the preferable world is the one with no free will, but God gave us free will. That's a contradiction. So if God existed, he would create a world with no free will, but because he gave us free will, that means that God doesn't exist.
Well, that basically goes back to what I was talking about in the beginning. Like, we're basically all robots, and we don't have the ability to be like, God, I actually don't love you. God gives us the ability to be like, I either love you or I don't love you. And so that's how much he loves us, is he's even willing for us to depart from him.
Yeah. So in my world, the world that I'm suggesting with no free will, it wouldn't be robots either. They don't love God because they're pre-programmed to love God. They love God because they love true things. They know true things, and because they know true things, they know that God is the most lovable object in the universe. So they love God because they understand that. They love God because they understand him. Nico, thanks so much for the subscription.
So you're
Who
basically
else?
saying that so you're saying that it would preferably be, if God, your God, you would like for him to make everybody programmed to know truths, which God gives us the Bible. So we're either gonna accept the truth and read the Bible and listen to God's word, or we're gonna decline the truth.
What do you think my argument is, and how do you think this responds to it?
Your argument is saying, I think what I'm hearing from you is you would prefer a God to program us to know truths.
No, not to know truths, to like seek out truths. And not that I would prefer this, just that if God existed, this is what he would have done.
Why would he do, like, where are you coming up with that?
Because that's a much better world than the one we live in. A world where we all love God because we understand God with no free will is going to be preferable to a world with free will, where lots of people don't know God and they suffer forever because they don't know God. And lots of people claim to know God but only know him because they're scared of hell.
Okay, I think we're on two different planes. What'd you say? Yeah, no, I don't have an answer for you.
Okay, that's fine. Do you have
All
anything
right.
else?
Do you have anything else?
No, probably move on to the next guest, but I appreciate coming on up here.
Yep. See you.
Thanks. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. Drop a comment, share. If you want to support the stream, Venmo's allegedly-ian. Cash App is just allegedly Ian. Appreciate any and all support. Thank you all so much. What's up? How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing well. How old are you?
33.
Gotcha. And what religion are you?
I used to be Mormon. No longer, though.
Damn. That's kind of a W. But what religion are you now?
Non-religious.
Are you an atheist?
I'd say agnostic.
Okay. What are you here for?
I would love your opinion on the Sam Harris Jordan Peterson debates, if you've watched that.
I don't know. I think it's like almost certainly too hard for me to watch those. I think I generally don't like Sam Harris very much.
Really?
But yeah, I think he's good on like some stuff. I also think that he, like, the things that he expresses are what he genuinely believes, that he's not like a sellout. I think Jordan Peterson is like just a fraud. I think he's like point blank, as someone who's done like a lot of reading into philosophy, who's read just like a lot. The stuff that Jordan Peterson says is incomprehensible, philosophically. Like, it's just nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah, I tend to side with more of Sam Harris and his arguments generally. I can kind of see where Jordan Peterson is coming from as far as God is the sum total of goodness. But I just see that Jordan Peterson is like kind of hypocritical when he says religion is good for people, but unless you're as smart as me, because I don't go to church, but all the dumber people should definitely go to church. It's kind of like what it seems like he's saying.
Oh, for Sam Harris?
Jordan Peterson seems to be saying that because he doesn't go to church, but he argues that people should go to church.
I mean, yeah, that's like certainly weird. I think I'd have to watch the debate, but I probably wouldn't because I just can't. I can't listen to Jordan. Like, it just, I like clips of Jordan Peterson saying nonsense, but that's like about as much Jordan Peterson as I'm capable of digesting. Otherwise, it just makes me upset. I don't think I could sit down and watch like an entire debate. I don't know. I think I feel like a solid like 6 out of 10 about Sam Harris. And I feel probably like a resounding 1 in regards to Jordan Peterson. I really don't like Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, they go back and forth until Sam Harris pushes him up against the wall, and Jordan Peterson basically
Damn, that's kind of hot.
he's oh yeah, and Jordan Peterson basically breaks things down into such minute forms to the point where he says nobody understands things at this level, and then it just kind of goes nowhere. Anyways, was hoping you
Yeah.
had seen that and had more
No,
of
I
an opinion on it.
haven't.
It was major part of my deconstruction was watching those debates, the Sam Harris Jordan Peterson debates on YouTube.
Interesting. Well, do you have anything else, or should I move on to the next guest?
Move on. Thanks.
Yep, I appreciate coming on up here. Yeah, make sure you double tap it on that screen. If you want to support the stream, Venmo's allegedly-ian. The Cash App is just allegedly Ian. Appreciate any and all support. Hey, what's up? How's it going? Hey, how old are you?
I'm 40 years old.
Okay. And what religion are you?
I just believe in God. I'm non-denominational.
Do you think that Jesus is the Son of God? Like, do you believe in the Bible?
Yeah. So I believe that in the Bible, it's especially in the New Testament, it's a whole lot of metaphors inside of there, and so it's more on the lines of just believing in love. So for me, I believe Jesus, the word Jesus, equates to the word love, and wherever you see the word Jesus in the Bible, you can put the word love and it'll equal out. One of the reasons why I had came up here because you was talking about free will, and for me, it's like, do you have any children? If I can ask you that.
No, I sure don't. Jenny, thank you so much for the subscription. Let's get a W Jenny in chat. Welcome to the community. Appreciate you being here.
Okay, so the reason why I asked that is I have a child, and whenever I had him, I just tried to push so much love inside of his life. His mother did the same, and not calling myself a god or anything, but whenever it comes to my household, I felt like I'm the hierarchy. And so I just try to give him as much love as possible. And so I'm saying that to the point where even though I gave him all this love, free food, free reign, whatever he could do as a child, he still would go out and be mischievous and get into his own little troubles and have to figure out the world.
What does this have to do with God?
Well, let me land the plane. So
Yeah.
if I'm the hierarchy of my house, and that equates to God being the hierarchy of this world, and He gives us free will, just like we got to give our children free will to
This is an analogy. It's not an argument.
Yeah, it's an analogy. Yeah, very true. But it's me showing you the reason why that we may have free will as human beings, to the point that we can't just be directed. We have a life that we have to live. Everybody does, and so we got to have a chance to be able to do that.
Yeah. So, and I don't know. I don't like making the free will offense like 2 times in a row, because it's like most people just don't get it. But the argument is not that God should direct every part of our life. It's that if instead of free will, we all just had like a deep desire to learn true things, this wouldn't be like God directing our path. He wouldn't be forcing us to do specific things. We would go out into the world and do the things that cause us to learn. We would learn enough to where we learn that God exists. And after we learn that God exists, we would come to accept him and love him because he is acceptable and lovable. And then we would all we'd spend our days appreciating God's work, appreciating God, and getting closer to him, basically. And this would all happen without free will, but everyone would go to heaven. Nobody would be like gratuitously suffering, although there certainly would still be challenges. It would just be a much better world.
I can understand that. So but you don't believe that we have enough knowledge inside of our lives to be able to have that want to do right, or you don't believe that everybody has that inside of their life already.
So it's not a want to be right. It's like a desire to know things. Like if everybody just desired truth, lots of people don't desire truth. They desire like to see their side win.
And you're exactly right about that. But I'll say this, and I'll just digress so you can move on. But I just believe that everybody has that will to be able to do right or wrong. Before you go out and commit an act of sin or do something wrong, for a majority of us, something comes over our body saying, hey, this ain't right, but we do it anyways. So I believe that's that will that you're asking God to give us that we already have.
Uh,
But
no, because like lots of people don't have a deep innate desire, excuse me, to learn true things. This is like just not going to be true.
and I'll say this and then I'll get off. Even you, even though you say that God isn't real, I believe you're not gone yet. You're here on this earth, so you have a desire to listen and learn, because you wouldn't be letting people come on your platform and give their side. You actually listen, you let people talk, and then your brain is processing all these things. So even you have a will to learn the truth. And I do too, and that's why I'm here hearing your side. But at the end of the day, stay going on in your life, and I hope that
Hmm.
you're blessed with infinite knowledge that you're looking for. But you have a good day.
Yep, I appreciate you coming on up here. Keep on double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends. Let's get this live in front of as many people as we possibly can. Sorry, gang, the debates are like slowed down. Um, I'm just trying to like look for debates here. So come up if you think you have an argument. In parentheses, little bro. Yapping Yitzel is crazy. But not unjustified. It's not true. That's definitely the case. If I were an individual, where would I be?
I want to talk to you for a second. You know you want to talk about?
Yeah, I don't think either of you are 18 or older. Sorry. But just keep on double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends. Let's get all the way up to 150k likes. If you want to be playing bingo right now, join the Discord. What's up, Joven? What is it? Is it
Yo, what's
Joven or
up?
Joven?
How is it going, brother?
Good. How old are you?
I'm 23.
Okay. What religion are you?
Orthodox
Okay,
Christianity.
so what's your strongest argument for the existence of God that does not involve personal experience?
Well, I read the Bible and I just found I go every Sunday to church and in the liturgies, and I feel the relief there, and it cleans me up, my my spirit.
So
Yeah, go
this
ahead.
sounds like an argument for why believing in God makes you feel good, not an argument for why God exists.
I do believe that God exists because in the way that is shown in the Bible, if I truly want you to say that, sorry, my English is a little bad. I want you to read the Bible and to read everything before making some conclusions.
Why would I need to do that? I mean, surely if there's like a key point, you can just summarize it to me. Plus, there's people who have read all of the Bible and believe the same thing that I do.
But when you read it yourself, then you truly should find out, is it true or not?
Well, I don't need to read the Bible. I just need to engage like logically. I just need to like think about God from like a logical perspective and realize that he's illogical, and then conclude that he doesn't exist because illogical things don't exist.
Can you repeat?
Yeah, so I know that God doesn't exist, not based on reading the Bible, but based on the fact that illogical things don't exist.
Like, can you give me an example?
Yeah, so like a squared circle doesn't exist.
What do you mean by that? Like,
So
square circle?
like a square that's round.
Yeah, go ahead.
A square that's round. Can we have a square that's round?
All right. And what does it have to make with God?
Is a square that's round a thing that could exist?
No, but the thing is...
Why could it not exist?
What?
Why could it not exist?
I mean, like, if I want to argue about belief and knowing. There's a difference, belief, know. when you know Jesus and when you believe in him. So let me clarify what I mean by this. Belief is when we do not something we do not see, and knowing is when we meet him in our dreams. And I had a lot of miracles in my life that
I'm
saved
not
my
really
life.
interested in personal experiences, but why would I ever want to believe something without evidence?
But there is enough evidence.
Yeah, so
If
what's the evidence that you have?
like you have Bible, just the book.
Oh, so the Bible is true because the Bible is true.
If you truly believe, you will make your way to the heaven. If you don't, you
Is
won't.
that a summary of the argument that
But
the
that's-
Bible is true because the Bible is true?
What can you repeat? Sorry.
So you're saying that the Bible is true because the Bible is true, is that correct?
I believe it is true. I read it, everything, but I believe because I feel joy. I feel every time I'm happier.
Yeah,
when
so
I'm
this
free.
isn't like a philosophical position. This is like cope. If having imaginary friends makes you feel good, that's great. That's awesome. It wouldn't do that for me, so I'm all right. But, more power to you.
All right.
Do you have anything else for me, or should I move on to the next guest?
Go ahead. Go.
Well, appreciate you coming on up here. Keep on double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. Make sure you're dropping a follow as well. Hey, what's up? How's it going? Jay Ellen?
Yo, hello?
Hey, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Yeah, what year were you born?
I was born 2003.
Okay, perfect. 18, 2003. Okay, yeah. Only request to join if you're 18 or older. Or good at math. You gotta be one or the other. You can't be, you can't be neither. Hey, what's up? How's it going, Maddie?
Good, how are you?
Good. How old are you?
I'm 18,
And what year were you born?
2005.
Perfect. And what religion are you?
I am Christian.
Okay. So what's your strongest argument for the existence of God that does not involve personal experiences?
Just going back to like the Bible thing, I thought I'd join because I just thought it's like imaginary, friends. Like, I don't see that as like a good, I don't understand what you mean by that. Like, you're saying
Yeah, that like it's not real, that like God is like an imaginary friend. And if it helps you cope, that's fine. If it like helps you to imagine like a dude up there like looking down on you, like approving of your life choices, and that you have like a personal relationship with this like dude up there, good for you. You can have an imaginary friend if you want. Like, that's up to you. I'm not
but
interested in
it's not an
imaginary
imaginary
friends.
friend. Like,
Oh,
I
prove
see
it.
the Lord as somebody that is real, and he's my father, and he created us, you know?
Yeah, prove it.
Well, do you see the world? Like, do you see the trees? Like, do you see these, like, their Grand Canyon? Like, do you see these, like, waterfalls? Like, they can't be handmade, like, by man. Man can't make these things.
Yeah, I think nature made these things. I don't think man handmade trees or the Grand Canyon, obviously. I think these things arose via evolution or like erosion, maybe. I'm not sure what specifically made the Grand Canyon.
So, like, what you think is, like the Big Bang? You believe in, like, the Big Bang, or, like,
Yeah,
that we
I'm
all,
a Big
like,
Bang defender. I
evolved?
like the Big Bang, yeah.
Okay, well, so what you're saying is that, like, you just think that, like, one day, just, like, out of nowhere, just, like, everything just popped into place?
No, not at all. So I think that the universe gets like bigger. That's like the Big Bang. It's more of a big bounce, and then after a specific amount of getting bigger, it gets a lot smaller, and then it gets bigger again, and then it gets smaller, and it gets bigger again. It's gotten smaller, and this process has always happened. It's been going on for infinity in the past. And we're just like another iteration. Jeffrey, thanks so much for the $6.66 from Hippo. Appreciate it. I'm sorry, I probably fucked that up. Your name came up before the message. That's my bad. Doxed. My bad. But let's get a W Jeffrey in the comment section. W666. W Satan. Hail Satan.
So you believe in Satan, but you don't believe in God.
No, I just think it's like funny to say sail Hayden, hail Satan.
Oh, right. It's hilarious. Yeah.
Well, don't
I
say
just-
that. Well, yeah, I think it's funny.
Well-
I mean, I could think it's funny, right?
Yeah, I can think it's funny. It's just like, so do you not believe in hell?
No, why would I?
So like, where do you think you go once you die? Like, where are we all going?
I don't think anybody knows. I think nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. The people who tell you that they know are lying to you. Nobody knows. Nobody would know this information. Nobody's ever survived to relay the message.
So like, are like the people before us that, like before us, we are like Jesus that died on the cross, like all of that. Like you don't believe that anybody like the Messiah came. You don't think that he died on the cross. Like you don't believe any of that in like the very, very beginning of time. You don't believe any of that has happened at all.
No, I mean, do you have any evidence for this that doesn't come from the Bible?
Well, you can go to Israel. You can go and see
And
the
do
empty
what?
tomb. Like you can go to
Oh, no,
Jerusalem.
wait. So
and-
what's the location of the tomb? Nobody knows what the location is, so you can't do that.
But you can go in and see it. You can go and see Noah's Ark. You can go and see.
No, you
like,
sure can't. You sure can't, because one, we've never found Noah's Ark, and two, again, if we don't know where the tomb is, you can't go and find the tomb, obviously.
Yeah, but there's been people that have gone into the tomb and have
No,
seen
there
it.
isn't.
There's
Nobody knows
Israel,
where it
there's-
is.
You can go into the Garden
Where
of
is it?
Gethsemane.
Where's the tomb?
I have no idea. I don't know exactly, but I know people have gone. You can search it up on your phone.
Yeah, I have.
There's
I have a computer right in front of me, and I've searched it up before. Nobody knows where the tomb is.
Okay, so you're telling me that people have been to the tomb, but you don't know.
I don't
where
think
it is.
anybody's been to the tomb.
Oh, okay. I just don't know how to like argue.
Okay, that's fine.
When-
If God's all good, why do we have earthquakes?
Why do we have earthquakes if God's all
Yeah.
good?
Yep. Why would he do that to it? Jessica, thanks for the $6.66 on Venmo. W Jessica, W666, W Satan, hail Satan. Appreciate that, Jessica.
I think the thing for me is like, well, like what I believe is like there's sin in the world, and I know you probably don't believe in sin or
Yeah, but I'm asking
I
you about
just,
your
like-
worldview, so it's fine.
right. Like for me, like there's sin in the world. Like everybody has a sin nature. Like we all sin, and for me, it's like because of sin, there's gonna be wrong things. Like whenever Jesus created the world, like he created it perfect, and man messed up. So
Fuck, why would we
That's-
do that? That's too bad.
yeah, it is too bad, but we all do it because we have a sin nature, and so that's why we have sin in the world. It's not because of God; it's because of Adam and Eve who messed up. You see what I'm saying?
Did God make us have a sin nature?
Yes, he did.
Oh. So God made us have a sin nature. We sinned.
really have-
and
he
now we're
doesn't
getting
really-
punished for God giving us the fucking sin nature. What?
He doesn't
That
really
doesn't
give
make
us
sense.
the sin nature. He gives us the opportunity to choose. He's a loving God. He's not gonna tell us what we can and can't do. Like
So where did the sin nature come from?
Satan, which is a person you don't believe in, but I'm saying like the whole reason that Adam and Eve sinned is because of Satan. He was
Does
a snake
Satan
and he
have a
tempted
sin
Adam and Eve
nature?
to sin.
Does Satan have a sin nature?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So who gave Satan his sin nature?
He did.
Oh, Satan gave himself his own same. It's like this argument to me sounds like when people say that like God created himself. How did he give himself his own sin nature? Was it Was it
He
why
thought
would
he
he
was
do
better
that
than
to
God.
him?
So like,
Katie, thank you Katie, it's probably just Katie. Thank you so much for the subscription. W Katie in the comments section for the thank you, Katie. Appreciate it. Appreciate you.
so when God was like creating his angels in heaven, Lucifer was one of the angels that he had created, and Lucifer thought he was more powerful than the Lord. And he's not. The Lord reigns over everybody, and he is just a living God. And when Satan thought that he was better than
Charlotte, thanks. So
God,
exactly at what point did Satan give himself his own sin nature?
when he thought that he was better than the Lord. And that's when God cast him out of heaven.
And why did he think he was better than the Lord? Did that stem from his sin nature?
Yes.
Okay, so his sin nature existed before the thing that caused his sin nature to come into existence. So the cause happened after the effect. So let's say you like...
Right, but like nobody's perfect. Whenever Jesus is creating it, or whenever
Nico,
God's
thank you
creating
so
it,
much for the $7.77 on Cash App. W Nico in the comment section. W777. W God. Hail Jesus.
I just think like we all just have a sin nature. We all mess up. Like we all, like, nobody's perfect. The only perfect person that walked the earth was Jesus, and we can try to become perfect, but we can't ever live up to that expectation. And it's because of other people. It's because of Adam and Eve that we have a sin nature, and Satan also is a big part of our sin nature. That's why there's sin in the world, because of Satan. But I don't think that God intends to hurt people or do any of that. You are the boss of your own life, and he will let you choose whichever pathway you want to go. It's either to follow him or to not follow him, and he's not going to force you or make you do anything, because that's not who he is.
Wow, we got a preaching Priscilla over here. I'm not sure how you think that that's going to help you out. So the contradiction that you're stuck at now is that you think that Satan's sin nature came into existence because he thought he was more powerful than God, but the only reason he thought he was more powerful than God is because of his sin nature. So the causation chain is that his sin nature caused him to think that he was more powerful than God, and by thinking that he was more powerful than God, it brought his sin nature into existence. But that's not true, because his sin nature already existed over here, which means that it can't come into existence over here. There's a logical contradiction. Love for B, thank you so much for the subscription. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Proselytizing Penny, that's a good one.
So let me ask you a question. Like, when something like bad happens to somebody, or like if something good happens to somebody, like I just am asking, like, do you think that that's like luck or just like bad luck? Like, what do you think that is? Like, can you
Depends
just
on the
kinda...
bad thing, I think. I mean, so let's say that the bad thing is that like your family died,
Okay.
and it happened because you killed them. I don't think that that's luck. Elizabeth, thank you so much for the $6.66 on Venmo. Hail non-believers indeed. W666, W non-believers, W Elizabeth. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for that.
So, like, continue what you're saying?
Yeah, so just like, I mean, it depends. Like, certain bad things that happen to you happen because of luck. Others don't. If your family died, but you like led to them dying, that's like probably still a bad thing, in the long run at least. But you brought it about. And also, I mean, there's like if you get fired, but it's because you were like, I don't know, like doing whatever at work. Yeehaw! Thank you so much, Olivia. That's probably your fault, right? Like you probably like deserved that. So I don't know. I wouldn't say that that's luck.
Okay, and then one other question, like, why do you think we live on this earth? Like, what are we made to do?
Yeehaw! Thank
Like,
you
what...
so much, Jessica. I appreciate that. I think that we get to create our own purpose, right? That I have the power to assign meaning to my own life. I don't need to like conform my life to a book written 2,000 years ago. In fact, it's quite liberating because now I know that I can make my own meaning, and that I don't need to follow the meaning that was like predetermined for me. I can just like live my own life. Gorzibfig,
So
thank
you're
you
just
so
living.
much.
So you're just like living your own life, like just how you want to live it, and then you just die, and you're like your life is over. Like you.
More or less.
What do you mean? Where do you think you go whenever you die?
I don't know. That's the more or less part. I'm not really sure. Nobody knows. That's how you're living too. You just don't know it.
No, that's how you're living, and you have no idea where you're going, and that's why I'm just like scared for you.
Well, you also don't know where you're going.
I know exactly where I'm going.
Does God allow pegging in heaven?
Does God allow what?
Pegging in heaven.
What is that?
Never mind.
Pegging?
Yeah. Never mind. It's okay. All right, that's fine. You can just be scared for me. That's fine. Do you have anything else for me, or should I move on to the next guest?
You can just move on.
Well, appreciate you coming on up here. Yeah, what is rule 34 of heaven? What's God's 34th rule? Please tell me. Keep on double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. Nico, are you still in that guest request box? Where are ya? Where are ya? You paid like $7.77. Hey, thank you so much. Appreciate that, Princess Leia. Yeah, not many people know about God's 34th rule in heaven, but it's actually that everyone there gets like a pizza party and a pony. If you want to know more about like the scriptural basis for this belief, Google like Jesus Rule 34. Is Nico still here? God, I really shafted Nico. Paid me the $7.77, was spamming like God loves you in the comment section, and is now nowhere to be found. Oh, okay, wait, cool. Wait, were you trying to join? Are you still trying to join? What's going on? Do you want to hit the guest request box, or like what do you want to do? Oh, there you are. Yeah, perfect. I see you now.
Hey.
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Good,
How old
man.
are you?
I'm 40. I'm glad that you called me because for a moment there, I thought I was going to lose the opportunity. Hey, thanks for having this. This is like awesome. I'm just sitting back and just loving it.
I'm glad you're liking it.
I'm going to see how I can do with this. But the way I guess, so my obviously, my stance here is God is real. So how do I position it is to say that what I'm noticing from all your answers and the way you position it is that you have a framework that is pretty much bound within the scope of your perception. So everything that you think about and you've been explaining, whether it be through science or through any other observation, is within your perception. And what I would invite us to discuss is outside of our perception, something that goes and extends beyond what we can perceive. And it's not that we couldn't perceive outside this perception, we just haven't developed enough skills, but there are clues. So that's kind of like, I don't know if that's too much, but that's where I wanted to start, just to kind of frame this.
Okay, and why should I? So first of all, I don't know, because there's like some things that are outside of my perception, like intuitively I grasp like logic, for example. So, but why would I want to? I'm not sure exactly what type of evidence you want me to include, and why I would want to include that evidence.
So when we talked, there's a few. I mean, there's so many great topics and so many points that you made. I'm like itching here, like, oh, I wish I could jump in. So, but what I would say is that when it comes to God and where God is and time and where did time begin or did it begin, these are all things that are outside the scope of your framework that you're working from.
Tawny, thank you so much for the subscription. W Tawny in the comment section. Welcome to the community. David, is that David? David, well, thank you so much for the subscription. Welcome to the community. W David in the comment section. Appreciate y'all being here.
So the way I'll back it up is to say, well, the way I'll start it is to say that I believe that we are all an energy source, that's all we are is energy. And I think it's proven in science. We can go all the way far down in this. No, we're not. Okay, so good. So then there's a starting point. We are all energy. Without energy, there would be nothing, right? In order to be any, there's either energy or there's nothing. There's no energy, nothing.
I don't know if that's true.
Consider the smallest thing that we can consider of ourselves, the atom, and then within the atom, the quarks.
Yeah.
So as you dig deep into the science, which I know you're a guy of concrete facts, we get to this
facts.
Well, yeah, like scientific, your belief in science and your belief in So as we go further down into this, we get to this place called quantum mechanics.
Yep.
Okay, so in quantum mechanics, there's all sorts of unusual.
Gabriel, thanks for the Cash App, for the $1 on Cash App. W. Gabriel in the comment section. Appreciate that. Please continue.
Thanks. Bizarre behavior in the quantum, which is that things can exist at the same time, and that things exist based upon a frequency. So when we talk about time, you and I would consider time to be from point A and then point B. When I said point A and then I said point B, they're at different points in time. But that doesn't have to be a linear progression. That could be a progression that's stacked in different frequencies. So instead of moving through the same period of time in this one frequency, we are moving through frequencies. So what makes up time is actually it's a human perception. It's not an actual thing. There is no such thing as time other than the way we perceive it because of the difference between our progressions through frequencies.
Wait, so do you think God exists inside of time or outside of time?
God is the frequency. It is God is the energy that we use in order to be alive, to exist.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, let me give me a moment, and I think I'll have a position for you to start attacking me from. So frequencies are known, like there are different levels of frequency, right? If you look at the Kabbalah, for example, it talks a lot about frequency, about different light frequencies. We know the electromagnetic radiation is just nothing more than a band of different frequencies from one end to the other, but it's all the same energy. So we are operating on different frequencies at every moment. So we think that we're living this one life in this one band, in this one period, as we would say time, like 1990 to 2024, whatever. But we're actually living through different frequencies at the same time. There is no difference.
What's your evidence that we're living through different frequencies at the same time? And what is it? What are you? So when you say the word frequency, what do you mean? Can I get a definition of the word frequency?
Sure. Well, frequency is just the energy, and it's the electromagnetic energy. It's the energy that's used in order for things to exist. Okay?
So we're living through different electromagnetic energy at different time periods?
Well, let me give you an example that will maybe bring it back to some... okay, you ever hear of the black box experiment with the cat?
Schrodinger's... yeah,
Schrodinger.
yes.
Okay, so that's an example where two things can actually exist at the same time, and they're both probable until you actually expose which one exists, which one is the result. And so everything, when you say like time, or you say like there is no difference everything is happening all now and here at once. This is the only time that actually is existing, is this moment. But
that's actually unsupported by both quantum mechanics and general relativity. Both of these seem to favor like a B theory of time, not like the A theory where there's only like this one.
Mm-hmm. But when you go, okay, so it's okay. So I think I'll let you push more in that position because I'm not. There's not enough for me to talk back about that. But I'll continue. So when we live, it's actually not in this linear progression, but it's through different. It's in multiple frequencies at the same. So we can choose. That's why, like, for example, the cat in the box could be both alive and dead at the same time, because we don't know until we actually put energy and looking into it to actually make one of those a probability to become a reality. And that's only the reality that we perceived. What the idea is that God is beyond all of this. It is all the probabilities that can possibly exist. So that is God. It's not that God.
Wait, why is that God?
Because if you travel the story, which is where we go through quantum mechanics, at some point There, at some point, we all target to one source of energy. So we might
Jane.
feel. Pardon?
No, I was just thinking Jane.
Oh, sorry. So you, like, for example, think of like let me tell you this. Like, imagine a bubble, right? You take a bubble and you blow it into the air. So there's this little form of a bubble, a circle, and surrounding it is air. And inside of it is air. And the only thing that separates that bubble from the rest of the air is the little chemical. Once you pop it, it all becomes one and the same. The air is infinite. So the fact that we have a unique existence at this moment in this time is because we are like that bubble. We are coming from the same source of energy. We have a wrapping that makes us feel as if we're one, but we're really not. We're all part of that same energy.
Do you know what the question was?
Well, I'm positioning what God is, or is God real? And God is that energy. God is the energy that we all are working from in order to exist.
Yeah, and that's the question. Why is God that energy? Okay, I guess
Why
like
wouldn't- why-
how are you defining God? What's your
God is
definition
the
of
energy.
God?
God is the energy.
So
that
all you mean when you
exists-
say God is just energy. So God isn't a mind, God isn't a person, God isn't an entity. Like God is just energy.
pure energy. We're all from that same source.
Well, that's like a super boring position to me, I guess. Like if all you do is like
Pretty powerful when you
if
what you
you
can get from it.
if you define God to be energy and then you like say like energy exists, then like analytically it's like trivial that God exists. I just don't think like when I say God isn't real, I'm not saying that energy isn't real. Yo, I just have Blitzes in here. I bet Blitz would love this conversation. Blitz, leave. Blitz, don't come here, Blitz. You wouldn't like this one. Blitz, you wouldn't like this one. Don't come.
Sorry, Blitz.
Oh, Blitz, why would you do this to yourself?
What happened?
Oh no, you wouldn't like this one.
What is happening? I just got here.
Nico here would like to tell you a little bit about quantum mechanics.
Would you?
No, I actually want to tell you about energy. So we all come from the same source of energy. And my example, Blitz, to bring it to as quick as I can to what my last statement was imagine blowing a bubble into the air with the kids' bubbles. What that bubble is in its own bubble, its own form because of the soapy water. As soon as you pop that bubble, the air that was outside and inside that bubble all is one and the same. So just the only thing is that makes us unique is we have this bubble that makes us feel different from everyone else or different from the world, but we're actually all one and the same in the energy, and that energy is God. That's where I'm at.
What do you mean by energy?
The energy that allows all of us to exist.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
So, what is energy? We'll start there.
Energy is a number that is conserved in time-symmetric systems.
But what is energy considered? Like, give me a definition. What you said
I just gave you what energy. No, energy is a number. It's just a number. Yeah, it's a number.
No, it's not a number. Energy is work. Work. Energy is work. Right? When you work.
No, work is a number.
Right. Okay. So, but all right. So let's. I see who I got now. Okay. So is it different? Because I've been learning from Ian, and I see his points of view, but now I see your point. Okay. So let's talk about quantum mechanics. Okay. So in quantum mechanics, the
Why'd
theory.
you do this to me, Ian? Go ahead.
No, you don't have to do it.
No, it's fine. That's fine. I'm being sarcastic.
Blitz loves talking to theists about quantum mechanics.
It's my favorite thing. Go ahead.
So to me, quantum mechanics has a lot closer descriptions of what God and what this higher sense might be, because my whole premise is that people are always operating from the framework of what they can see and feel and touch. And that's how they operate and work out the rules of the universe, the rules of everything. But what we find as we keep going further into the science is that there's this whole level called, like, for example, quantum mechanics, where things get really bizarre and they don't actually add up to the way that, let's say, classical science or classical physics would have suggested. So, for example, the probabilities and the fact that things can exist at the same time for different probabilities until one becomes the reality. For example, the black cat could be dead or alive in the box until you look at it. Both probabilities are equally possible, right? So the idea is that what I was mentioning is that when you think of time, for example, people tend to think of it in a linear progression from the point of view of this one life that we're living here in this physical point of view that we're in right now. But we're actually, time is nothing more than the changes in frequency that we go through every moment. Every moment we're changing frequency. So it's not that we're changing within this one timeline or this one plane of existence, because all existences are possible. The difference is that as one becomes a realization to you, that's a different frequency that you're on. And that's how time progression occurs.
Jane Doe, thank you so much for the subscription.
So
W Jane Doe in the comment section.
Time is not real.
What do you think
it's
a
a perception.
frequency is?
He thinks
Frequency-
it's energy.
Yeah, frequency is the radio frequency, right? From like, think of if the only way we can measure it is light.
Could you give me
and
a
it's-
definition of frequency?
Frequency is light and its direction of travel, and
Okay.
at what amplitude
is
and what
frequency light? Is that really true?
Yeah.
What do you make of sound frequencies?
Well, think about it. You have the radio frequency.
What do you make
There's-
of sound frequencies?
That's just a lower.
Is that light?
Well, they're all different energies, right?
But is that light?
It's just like non-light light, dumbass.
You know what? Light is a perception that we have visibility, right? Light is within the
Light
visible
is
spectrum,
Light is an electromagnetic wave.
and they're all they all have a frequency. So electromagnetic waves, which to me
Yes,
is energy.
electromagnetic waves have a frequency. Yeah, all waves have
All of them.
frequencies.
They're all within a scope or frequency.
But not all frequencies are associated with light or electromagnetism. Sound waves have a frequency. Sound waves have nothing to do with electromagnetism.
But that doesn't mean that light doesn't exist as a frequency. It doesn't just because.
Frequency is a number.
Yeah, it's an actual.
Len, thank you
it's a
so much for the
succession.
subscription.
Frequency
Double
is a
Len in the
succession.
comment section. Welcome to the community.
Frequency
Appreciate
is
you
how
being
many
here.
times. Okay, it's a six. Well, it could be measured by a number.
No, that's what frequency is. Frequency is defined. It's a numerical quantity.
But you could
right?
also measure by energy. The higher the frequency, the higher
Energy
the
and frequency are different.
No, but you could measure it that way. We're talking about tools to measure versus being a fact of life, of something.
Look.
You're telling me it's a tool.
There are things like an atom is like a thing, right?
Sure.
And then there's properties of the thing, like the
Sure.
atom has a certain amount of energy, or the atom has a certain charge.
Yep.
There,
Those are properties.
frequency is not a thing. Frequency is a property.
Correct,
Energy
I
is not a
agree with
thing. Energy is a property.
Well, that's where. Okay, so frequency is a property. That's for sure. Your second statement was energy. Energy is a property. Correct. You can have you can measure the amount of energy something has, right, by way of heat. So you're correct. But where so these are all ways that we observe these characteristics, right? Let's call them characteristics or properties. But what are they properties of? Is the question.
Matter.
God.
No, not matter, because not everything is matter that is having energy.
Well, there's matter, and then there's force carriers, and then
Is
there's
light
the Higgs
matter?
boson.
Matter, light's not matter.
Light's a force carrier.
Okay, fine. So it's something more than matter. Now we're talking about force carriers.
You can call it. So I don't have a good word for like. So matter is like electrons and protons and neutrons, and then like
Correct.
quarks and
Correct.
leptons and neutrinos. That's matter. I don't really have a good word for like all of the types of stuff. I usually just call it stuff.
Stuff. That's fine. A lot of people do. But the idea is that stuff is also properties of something. And that something is
not
God.
as far as we can tell. They're just
that's not
just like
true.
the stuff. That's just like the stuff that exists.
Well, I mean, now we're going into he said, she said. But my opinion is that
Who said what said?
that like a he said, she said, like he says this, she says that. I don't know. It's a statement.
Yeah. So it seems like the scientific community says one thing, and then you
because we're
say
hitting the
another
wall.
thing.
Well, because we hit the wall of what we can understand today. Do you agree that maybe in 20 years we'll have more knowledge than we do today as to what this stuff is? Do you think? Is it possible? Okay,
Yeah,
because
sure.
I think with AI, I think with all sorts of innovations that are coming out and the way that we're building computers, we're probably going to be able to calculate some crazy things and come up with some new ideas and formulas we didn't recognize. But at the end of the day, what we're going to find is as we move out and out further into what that is, these properties, that is going to define God. And can I, if we can stand there for a moment, I can say a few other things. If we can just, even if you can accept that that's my position, not yours.
Well, but like, how are you so confident that that's what's going to happen?
My confidence is coming from, so just respecting your positions of not having experience. How do I do it outside of my own experience, right?
Well, it just sounds like you're trying to. It sounds like you're predicting the future about what scientific breakthroughs will happen, which is like no one's ever been right about that. No one's ever been right about
I actually want to point out that the exact opposite happened. That originally we created God to explain these things that we didn't have scientific explanations for. So, you know, ancient Greece, you know, they invented like Hermes and Apollo and Zeus and Poseidon because instead of like explaining like lightning the way that it should be explained or like the way that actually is actually the case, they instead said, well, this is Zeus. He's like the fucking lightning guy who throws lightning because he wants to. But as science has progressed, we know that's not true. We know that's not where lightning comes from. So the direction of history actually moves opposite to your position, that as we learn more things, we actually rely more on science and less on God, not the other way around.
Well, okay, so let's stay there. That's a good point. I like that you said that. I want to point out that we always are in a you know, the whole point of science is to be proven what's wrong. So if science is the practice of testing and challenging,
that's not the point of science. I'm sorry.
Can I finish? What I'm trying. Maybe
I'll leave after this. I just got to interrupt.
Okay,
science is not about proving what's wrong. Science is about figuring out what's right. It's just the best way to do that.
But how do you go about doing it?
Throw
That's
away
my
the bad
point.
ideas.
Right.
Science
That's exactly.
is not about proving what's wrong. It's about it's about figuring out what's right.
Forget about
anyway, Ian, I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah. Good night, Blitz. Sorry.
It was good talking. Hey, science is about, maybe it's not about what's proving what's wrong, but the practice of how you do it is by proving what's wrong. That's what I meant to say. And so, sure, there is a lot of wrong, but that's how we get to our rights. What I'm trying to say is, and maybe this conversation is not the right angle for us, but what I'm trying to say is that God is the actual, where all these things that we're experimenting trying to find is actually going to be, we will realize that that is God. It's not about God deciding for you how to live your life or God directing you into what's good and bad. No, you have all that capability of making those choices, whether it's free will. In your opinion, I know you said you don't believe in free will, but it's not like there's some kind of emotion or feelings that God has towards any of this.
That's true.
God's existence is simply the energy that allows everything to exist within it.
I am a free will hater, but I think I've already explained how that's not true. But do you have anything else, or should I move on to the next guest?
All right. Well, it was good talking. Thanks for getting me on.
Yeah, it was good to talk to you as well. Yeah,
that.
thanks so much for coming up. Yeah,
Bye-bye.
appreciate it. Yeah, it was a good conversation. I liked it. Keep on double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all those good things. I think I have two. Up. Yeah, this is the first one. All right. Yeah, make sure you're dropping a follow as well if you never want to miss a debate in the future. Hey, what's up, David? How's it going?
Hey, yo, what's good, mate?
How old are you? Sounds fetus-esque.
Sorry. There we go.
How old are you?
I'm 18 of 2005.
This seems dubious. Okay, continue.
Okay.
Wait, can I ask what your birthday is?
Yeah, it's December 30th. I know a lot of people tell me I look and sound like I'm 14, but I'm working at a Christian camp right now, where I'm like a counselor for kids and whatnot.
Fuck. All right. So what's your strongest argument for the existence of God that doesn't involve personal experience?
Yeah. So first of all, I would just want to say I've been on this feed like while I'm working and whatnot, and for like 2 hours, and a lot of good points you've made that I've definitely like had like more insight on. But a big aspect that I wanted to kind of look at with you today, if you don't mind, is just kind of the accuracy, I guess you could say, the accuracy and the credibility of the Bible.
Yeah, let's hear it. How's the Bible credible and accurate? What's your strongest like accurate? Because what typically happens is people give me one verse, we dig into that one verse, turns out it's bullshit, and then they pivot to a new verse. I don't want to go through like 10 or 20 verses I want
yeah.
your strongest verse, and then we'll evaluate that.
Okay, I completely get that. So basically, I don't know if you know this, but most like scholars, whether Christian or not, date the latest part of the Bible to being written in the 3rd century, which is 300s, and that's when they believe the last bit of the Bible was written. That's when the Bible was completed.
Alana, thank you so much for the subscription. Alana in the comments section. Welcome to the community. I'm happy you're here.
And so a point I want to bring up is that the Bible ended up predicting things that scientists did not discover until after the 200s and 300s.
Such as?
So I made a list of 4 things.
Yeah,
obviously there was a good amount of them. So first off, obviously a big one is that like the Earth is free floating in space, which is mentioned in Job 26:7.
Well, it's certainly not falling. What's the alternative?
The thing is, for a long time, people did believe until at least like the 13, 14, maybe 1500s, they believed that like the Earth was held up by something, or it was like, there's all different theories where either it was like on the back of a turtle or it was suspended by a string. But in Job, which was written, one of the first books to be written in the Bible, about like 4000 BC, already stated that the Earth was free floating in space.
I don't think so. First of all, I would be interested in seeing the verse, but second of all, I think people probably knew that the Earth was like free floating because it's not falling, and if it was suspended by something, then presumably we would be able to go and find that something. Because we can't. It's good. It's probably a good assumption that it's not suspended by something on the back of a turtle. Uncle Joe, thank you so much for the subscription. W Uncle Joe in the comment section.
Another thing that I found.
But what verse?
Yeah. So if you look it up, it's Job 26:7, which, give me a sec, I have it pulled up over here.
He stretches the north of the void and hangs the earth on nothing. At the north over the void, the northern skies. He stretcheth out. That's so whimsical. I love that. Okay, wait. 5? Or was it? Oh yeah, no, 7. Yeah. Naked before us, he wraps up the waters and clouds. Oh, wait. I think that I'm actually going to take huge issue with this because every single part of this is metaphorical. Every part of this verse is like hugely metaphorical. It says the verse before is the realm of the dead is naked before God. Do you think it's like literally naked, like actually unclothed, or do you think perhaps it's a metaphor?
It means
it says, okay, so he says he wraps the waters in his clouds, yet the clouds do not burst under their weight. Do you think that this is literal, or do you think it's metaphorical?
So there are parts of the Bible that are metaphorical, I believe, and then there's parts that are literal. So a big part of this is metaphorical. Like, obviously, people are not naked before him. That's more of a God sees everyone and the decisions they make, and
Yeah, so you're saying that all the verses around this one are metaphorical, but then this one was meant to be literal? Really?
I think in Job specifically, a big part of it is God talking to a broken man, and he's basically saying look at all this things that were made and created, and he's basically showing that I don't know, just that he's. Give me a sec, I gotta collect my thoughts. But he's basically showing I made all this, and yet he still takes the time to care for individual people.
So, okay, so just to be clear, the parts that are literal are the parts where it supports your point, and the parts that are metaphorical are the ones where it doesn't support your points. Is that an accurate assessment? So it says the pillars of heaven quake aghast at his rebuke. Do the pillars of heaven literally quake?
So I think that's more of a.
Are there heaven quakes?
Well, I think that's more of an imagery of God's power.
So that one's a metaphor too. So he
there's
covers the face of the full moon, spreading his clouds over it. So is he talking about like a literal face? And is it literally covered? Or is that like another metaphor? Because to me, this all seems extremely metaphorical.
In Job specifically, I feel like God talks about how God talks to Job of like, look at what I have done, but then he also uses metaphor to kind of engrave the points he's trying to make to Job.
So why would I not assume that the verse that you're setting is also just a metaphor?
Because that is showing something that God is doing. Like, he hung the earth on
As
nothing.
does the rest of it.
And so, it's definitely a lot about interpretation. And so, I mean, I understand that my interpretation might be different, so I can't.
But your interpretation is that like in Job 26, all the rest of it, like literally every other line is metaphorical except this one, which you want to be taken literally, because it was like a new discovery. But that's fine. Yeah. What's your next one? Oh wait.
Okay.
Wait. No way. It says no way. No shot, Justin. No shot. There's no way that's true.
So a big one I wanted
No shot. Oh, that's crazy. I got really bad news.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey guys.
Says the earth is flat in Job 38:14.
Yeah, Job 38:14 says that the earth is formed like clay beneath a seal. Have you guys ever seen clay beneath a seal?
Isn't it like the flat stuff that you're like stamping on? Or am I thinking of a different seal?
No, I'll show you. I got a picture of it.
Yeah, let's see it.
What's the verse again? Sorry.
38:14.
This is an ancient clay seal.
Yeah, let's look at that.
So this is what clay seals look like when they're pressed, which ironically matches Isaiah 40:22 when it says that the Lord sits enthroned above the disk of the earth.
Well, how do you account for that? Is that a metaphor too?
I'm actually not sure, if I was honest, because I mean, obviously I'm 18, so.
Yeah, that's fine. It's like something to think about, right?
For what I think about is like Job, a lot of. If I read the full chapter, I feel like that would give a closer picture of like how it fits into the situation Job was in at that point of the book and the topic they were discussing. Because as of right now, I mean, obviously when we unpacked my verse and looked at the rest of the chapter, kind of showed more clear picture. So, but yeah, no, that is a very good point.
But it's weird, right? That it's like, okay, but let's just think about like the breadth of the Bible. There's like so many books in the Bible, and it makes a lot of claims. Most of them are wrong. I think it's like kind of reasonable, even if like these four are correct. I don't know. I don't think it's like very impressive if you make like 5,000 claims and then 4 of them turn out to be right.
Yeah. So
I would pose a similar question that Ian, even if we give you the most charitable argument ever, let's imagine that the 4 items you said the Bible says, that it legitimately predicted something that nobody knew. Does that still mean, though, that all of the unscientific false claims in the Bible go away? Or does the Bible still make false claims that science has debunked and has like many internal contradictions?
I think the Bible has different portions that relate to people's different walks in life and different situations and different levels of maturity. So I think when one person, like, say there's a
Scorched Mirth, thank you for the subscription. W Scorched Mirth in the comment section. Welcome to the community. Happy to have you here.
So right, but
I think what
with the
Ian's
way
getting at is that even if the Bible says a few things that are correct, even a clock that's broken is correct twice a day. How do you rectify all of the issues when it says things that are not true?
I think that, as I was saying earlier, just that the Bible is written to where different people with different walks. Like, I mean, I might go through one situation in life, but then somebody else goes through something else, and we read the same passage, and we interpret it in a way that can kind of teach each of us a different lesson. But I mean, it's still the same passage. But
Sorry, I didn't ask the right question. Does the Bible say anything that is untrue?
I mean, I've read the Bible through, and like I've had memorized a few portions. And I mean, from what I see, I don't think so. Just because, I mean, again, I've done my own searches and kind of just like tried to figure out, like, hey, because I mean, I went through a period of my life where I'm like, I don't know, is this all just bullshit? Like, why should I believe it? And so I kind of did my own study, kind of, tried to search for any flaws, any things that necessarily weren't true or just completely made up. And I mean, when you follow the whole theme of the Bible and the flow and just the message it's portraying, and
Yeah, we're
each
just asking whether or
passage,
not it's true, though.
I think it is true.
It could have a great message. We're concerned about whether or not it's true.
Yeah, it makes like a lot of like physical claims, like claims about reality, and these claims can either be in line with reality, true, or not in line with reality, false.
Okay. Well, let me ask you, what evidence is there for the Bible? I mean,
That's like your burden, right? Like that's your point.
well,
That's what you're trying to prove.
oh yeah. So if you look at it, I mean, you have 1,000-year-old, basically scrolls that people found. And I mean, people have confirmed. The latest one was written 200-300.
Do you mean the Dead Sea Scrolls?
Okay, yeah. Those and other scrolls that were found around in temples.
And you think that proves the Bible?
Okay, so
It does the opposite.
Well, here's the thing. If we take your guys' logic on the subject, how do we know Napoleon was real?
Are
How
you
do we
under
know-
the impression that the Dead Sea Scrolls confirmed that the Old Testament was accurately transmitted?
Well, certain parts of the Old Testament were already handed down for thousands of years with the Jews. I mean,
But
like
we're talking
Moses-
about the Dead Sea Scrolls, right? Because if you compare the Dead Sea Scrolls to the standard Hebrew text from the Masoretes, they don't match. So the Dead Sea Scrolls demonstrate that the line of succession for the manuscripts is not good.
Well, the books we are talking about right now are books that were handed out by Jews for thousands of years. I mean, Job, Psalms, Proverbs, and the Torah, which is the first 5 books, they were all with the Jews from like Moses, because Moses wrote the Torah.
No, Moses didn't write the Torah. There's no evidence of that. Job was definitely written probably in the early Babylonian period. That's why there's so much Aramaic wording in it. There's no pre-exilic Hebrew words in Job. There's no reason to believe that Job is an old story. It's written in a form of Hebrew that didn't exist until the exile.
So most scholars, when you do research, agree that Job was one of the first books written.
Oh no, they definitely don't say that. That's something that pastors tell you. Scholars don't say that.
I mean, again, I did my own research, and so that's how
I know, but I know the scholars. They're friends of mine. I studied with them. I have degrees in this field. Job is not an early book. But again, that's kind of irrelevant. We're trying to figure out if the Bible is true. Okay. And I think that you have evidence that the Bible is true. Is that correct?
Yes. So a second point I wanted to make, the Bible, if you turn to Hebrews 11:3, just kind of talks about how everyone and like everything is made up of imperceptible particles, which would describe atoms. So here, let me turn to Hebrews 11:3 real quick.
Atoms are visible, like they're not like directly, but they're like things that like, you can look at. Actually,
it says
there's some scenarios where you can see them.
The Bible says it's imperceptible, which means we cannot necessarily see them.
I think you're misquoting it.
Turn to Hebrews 11.
Yeah, Hebrews 11 is about faith.
I know, but if you look at verse 3.
I know. We're gonna read verses 1, 2, and 3. It says, "Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, and the conviction of things not seen. Indeed, by faith our ancestors received approval. By faith we understand the worlds were prepared by the word of God, so that what is seen was made from things that are not seen."
That's the verse right there. So it talks about by
Jesus,
faith.
thanks so much for the subscription. Appreciate you being here.
David, stick with us. In the New Testament, what is Jesus? Is he not the image of the invisible God?
He is.
Right. Were all things created through Jesus Christ?
Yes.
Yes. And is the Spirit of God dwelling in us if we accept Jesus Christ?
Yes.
Okay, so through New Testament theology, we would conclude then that that which is not seen, which is the invisible God, gave birth to that which is seen. It's not talking about nanoparticles or subatomic particles. It's talking about how all of humanity has its roots in the invisible God.
I'm not sure, because in the beginning of the verse it talks about by faith we understand. So
yeah.
And it said that the universe was formed by God's command. So it's already talking about like God formed the universe, but then it's also saying so that what is seen was made out of what is not seen.
Well, so because it talks about God and it's talking about the universe. The universe is the thing that's seen. God is the thing that's unseen. That's like the obvious reading of this verse, like just based on like the context.
It's the heavenly realm. That is the unseen thing in the book of Hebrews. That's why it says that faith is the assurance of things hoped for and the convictions of things not seen. The thing that is not seen is the thing that people are hoping for. The thing that people are hoping for is that God is real and heaven is real and that we will have a final rest. That's like the whole arc of the book of Hebrews. Like we don't have a conviction of nanoparticles and subatomic particles. We have a conviction of the spiritual realm.
Whoa, that's crazy. Kat, thank you so much for the meteor shower. I appreciate that. Let's get a W Cat in the comments section. That was so cool. That was like a wicked awesome animation. Appreciate that.
Cyber is asking which translation I prefer. I prefer for the New Testament the NRSV, and for the Old Testament I'll still stick with the NRSV or the NASB, but the New King James Version is fine too.
I recently picked up a copy of the NRSVUE because I heard that that's like a good one.
Oh, it's the best, and it doesn't hold any punches. Where it talks about the firmament in the King James Bible, in the NRSV it just calls it a dome, which is exactly what it is. It's just a hard dome.
Yeah, Dexter, thank you so much for the 5-cent subscriptions. Let's get a W Dexter in the comments section, and welcome to the community. All the people who just got sent subscriptions. Dexter, that's awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. No, that's good. Like that seems to be in line with like all the passages that I've read. They all seem to be very straightforward.
Okay, yeah. So a good question I had for you guys, that just kind of I found would you might find interesting. There's a verse in Acts that talks about from one man he made every nation of men that they should inhabit the whole earth, and determined them times set for them in the exact places where they should live. That's in Acts 17. And so that kind of shows that like we all descended from one gene pool, which was not found out until like there was a study done in 1955.
Oh, I think you're confused.
Well, let me finish my thing first.
That's not what the verse says. What?
That's not what it says.
Acts 17:26, it says, from one man he made every nation of men, that they should inhabit the whole earth.
But that's because he believed everyone came from Adam.
Yeah, well, like literally one man. That's like your creation story.
Well,
it's not like a one gene pool. It's like a literally one man.
Well,
Comrade Lennon, thank you so much to the community. Fuck yeah, comrade. Let's get a W in the comment section. I appreciate it. Appreciate you.
Well, here's where it becomes interesting, which is what I was talking about. There was a study done in 1955 of a selection of Y chromosomes from 38 men from different ethnic groups around the world. And they concluded that from those people that lived all over the world, they concluded that we descended from one gene pool.
I think...
I don't know what you mean by gene pool. I mean, obviously, we all descended from a common ancestor, which was an ape, which is why we share over 200 retroviruses with the ape family that aren't seen anywhere else in the animal kingdom.
Okay, and let me know how you can prove that. Because
easy. Do you know what an ERV is?
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
can you tell me what a endogenous retrovirus is?
So here's the thing. A question I had for you guys about that.
Wait, I think Justin just asked you a question. And it's okay if you don't know. I mean, I don't know what an endogenous retrovirus is. I have no idea.
It's been a sec.
I mean, there's like never any shame in not knowing. I think the only shame comes when you say you know something that you actually don't know.
Right. I'm not sure where. I think he's going to look something up.
Yeah.
No, I'm just looking over my notes, but no, I don't. Go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, if an animal gets a virus, right, that has found its way into our genome, it could splice into our DNA, and it actually leaves a lasting mark. If it makes it to your genome, which gets passed to your children and your children's children, you have this little splice of foreign DNA, and you can actually see where the splice starts and stops inside of the DNA strand. And we know that these are passed genetically because they show up in the same exact cell, because there's got to be a cell that you can pass when you reproduce, and it shows up in the same portion of the DNA strand, which sometimes is trillions of pairs. But we can actually locate these things, and there's actually people on YouTube that will show you one in real life. You can see an ERV. And so the fact of the matter is, if I have an ERV and everybody else in the human race has an ERV, that ERV had to have come from a common ancestor, and it got replicated over and over again forever, because the odds that a virus would find its way into the human genome in the exact same spot, in the exact same strand of DNA, and everybody would share it is literally mathematically impossible. So we know that tracking ERVs is the best way to see who shares what blood and how many people share it. Well, it just so happens that all of the human race, we share about 200 different ERVs with the great apes. And about 80% of those ERVs that we share with the great apes only exist between humans and great apes. They don't exist anywhere else in the animal kingdom. We're the only ones, which means we shared a good portion of our DNA with the great apes at one time.
Yeah, I mean, I can just while we wait for you to find whatever you're finding, I can just add on. Go for that.
Here's
That's
the thing.
Yeah.
I have a question for you then.
Well, do you have a response to that?
Well, yeah. But my question is, why stop at apes? I mean, research shows that our DNA matches 97.5% with mice. I mean, why can't we have descended from mice?
That's not true, but it's also a fallacious talking point, because when you look at the comparison of DNA, we're talking about DNA similarity, and usually we're talking about whether or not a smaller animal, like a subspecies, shares something with our species. So for example, we can find 50% of the DNA found in a banana we can find in a human, but we cannot find 50% of human DNA in a banana. So to say that we share 50% of our DNA with a banana is fallacious, because as humans, we have a much larger repository of DNA. So items that have a very low...
46, thanks so much for the subscription. W46, welcome to the community. I'm glad you're here.
items in a plant animal kingdom that have only a small number of cell variations obviously are going to have a little bit of crossover with the human body, but we share like 98% of our DNA with the chimps. But the similarity is irrelevant. ERVs have nothing to do with similarity of DNA. It's a way of tracking DNA. It's like someone put an air tag inside of a particular genome, and then we now track that air tag, assuming the air tag can reproduce.
New Dean MBBRF, thank you so much for the subscription. I'm sorry I didn't shout you out. Sometimes I miss it. That's my bad, but I do appreciate you. Thank you so much for being in the community. I promise to never neglect you in the way that I have already.
Well, what the point I'm making is, like, I mean, scientists have proven we share genes with cats, cattle.
So he's not going to respond.
dogs.
That's fine.
Like,
It's okay.
Like,
You don't have to
correct,
respond.
yeah. Like, why wouldn't we share? Like, they, you know,
I mean, like, yeah, that's what I'm
our
saying.
eyeballs are like probably at least like somewhat similar to cats. Makes sense that there would be like some of the same genes. Like,
Yeah, that's what
I don't
I'm
know.
saying,
That's gonna be
like-
true of like lots of traits. Like our cells replicate in specific ways, like pretty universally across the animal kingdom. Like obviously, there's gonna be like shared genes associated with that. I don't know why we wouldn't share tons of DNA with like lots of animals.
And in fact,
But
that
what we-
supports evolution.
Yeah.
All right, listen, David, I don't think you're ready to talk science on this matter, and I got to get down and get ready to host my own live.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I'll probably
Ian,
send people over there in just a second.
absolutely love watching you. Thanks for having me up. You guys
Yeah,
enjoy
yeah.
the rest of the conversation. I'll see you
Yeah, I
guys
know.
soon.
Justin's great. Everyone should be following Justin if you're not already. Yeah.
Well, all I can say is you definitely got me good. So I'll probably just.
Hey, W honesty. I appreciate that. I don't know. I
So,
thought you were
I mean,
like
yeah.
I thought you were like pretty honest with it. Like you
Yeah.
know, you tried your best.
I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I mean, obviously, I'm only 18, so I still have a full life to live ahead of me.
Yeah, of course,
But,
definitely.
I mean, yeah, no, it's definitely great. Getting clarity and obviously sharing some of my own opinions. So
Yeah.
I mean, I really hope I'm probably gonna go, but I really hope you find what you're fully looking for. So
Yeah, appreciate
yeah.
it. Well, I appreciate you coming on up here. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. And with that, we'll go to the very next guest. If you want to join the community, if you're 18 or older, join the
Oh my
Discord.
gosh, hello.
Hey, what's up, Jane? How's it going?
Hi, I was so nervous yesterday. Thank you for inviting me back on.
You sound pretty nervous today, too, not gonna lie.
I do
Do you
feel
have
better today. I've had a cocktail. No,
That's good.
yesterday I also mentioned something crazy, which wasn't a good point.
Diver Life? Thank you so much for the subscription. Welcome to the community. I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, what do you have for me today?
Well, okay, so I did write some things in my notes, actually.
46, thank you. All right, well, we wait for that. If you want to support the stream, Venmo's allegedly-ian. Cash App is just allegedly Ian. Appreciate any and all support. Thank you all
want
so
to
much.
talk about free will, I guess?
Not.
Because you were talking about it a lot when I first hopped on, and that's like the first thing I wrote down.
I think it's kind of boring because I think most people just don't really get my point. Okay, let me set like a clear goalpost. Maybe
Do you
I'll.
think I won't get your point?
I don't know.
You can
I've
try
been.
me.
It's okay. Yeah, I can try. That's fine. So, do you agree that in order to have free will, you need like a choice? Like you need to have the ability to have choices?
You need choices. Yes,
Yeah. And
choices, not
do you-
just a choice.
Do you, yeah. Do you agree that like to have choices, you need to be able to do otherwise? That if you can't do otherwise, if you couldn't have
glad
done
I'm here.
otherwise, then you couldn't, like you didn't actually have a choice.
Okay, yeah. So if like you can't pick option B and you only have option A, you mean like what do you mean?
Yep. Yeah. So if
Yeah,
like
then it's not a
you-
real
you-
choice. It's just
Yeah.
like manipulation. Someone's
Yeah,
making
sure.
you believe you have a choice when you really don't. That's not
Yeah.
real. Yeah, obviously.
So
fake.
Yeah, sure. So the reason why we don't have free will is because we don't have the ability to do otherwise. The only
Okay,
thing that you
so
will
because
ever
you
do in any
believe,
situation is
yeah.
you will always do the thing that you desire the most to do above
Yes,
everything
I
else.
remember you said that. I'm so
Yeah.
glad you just said it again because I thought that was actually a really smart thing to say. So I wrote that down in my notes. Wait,
Fuck yeah. Let's go. Oh, also when you're off the app, I can't hear you, by the way. I don't know if you know this. But that's fine. You can like take your time in your notes if you need it. HOTT.
okay, you said,
Oh, yeah.
can
What's
you
up?
hear me?
What are we doing? Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
And it's liberating. And I thought that was,
Wait. So when you leave the app, I can't hear you. What were you saying?
oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
You said I have the power to give life, to give meaning to my own life, and it's liberating. And I wrote it down after you said it. So that's like, do you agree with that
Yeah, I
still?
agree
Like,
with
I
that.
have the
Yeah.
power.
Yep.
Okay, because that's not a bad thing. I'm not sure. But
No,
yeah,
that's
you said,
fine.
so I thought that was a really good point. But that's why, in my opinion, God gives us free will. So you have that liberating emotion. And also in the Bible, you debate Christianity specifically. So I find it a little bit contradictory that you say, like, you have no idea why God doesn't give everyone that, because it, like, why God doesn't give everyone the choice, like, why he doesn't just make it a perfect utopia, basically. But we had that in the Bible, the Garden of Eden, and it specifically goes over why that went bad.
I just think the Garden of Eden is like out of line with like science.
But
Depending on
that's
what
your
specific
perfect
argument.
worldview, you know. You're basically talking about that because you say, like, where no one can hurt anyone, where no one can, like, no grape, no, like,
Yeah.
anything. But
Well,
that's
wait,
the
let's I
Garden of
feel like we're kind
Eden.
of bouncing all over the place, but we could do the grape argument. I think that this one's like pretty airtight. Do you agree
Okay.
that God could have made it such that our like anatomy
Yeah, he did in the Garden of Eden.
but did our anatomy change?
No.
So he made our anatomy such that like grape is
No,
anatomically
he didn't.
possible.
It was just like
Did
a
our anatomy
perfect
change?
utopia back then. No. They
So
still had sex. If you read like, they were doing it. Like,
yeah, and you
it
could
was just
still
perfect. And in God's idea of life, and there was no shame. You could have sex without it. It wasn't the same. Like, people add on shame, they add on all this other bullshit. Even now we're wearing clothing, and that's because of sin. You know, like in the Garden of Eden, we just be naked right now, you and me, Ian. We'd be like chilling. You know, it is. See, your eyebrows raised when I even mentioned being naked because that's shame. That's sin.
I have
You
I have
know?
I have like crazy autism. I don't know. I can't read what's happening in this interaction and it's confusing.
What? Am I bothering you?
Not really. Whatever.
What?
No, it's whatever. Let's
Am I
just
bothering
no,
you?
no, you're not bothering me. No.
I don't want to bother you.
Uh,
I don't understand what's happening
I
either.
promise you're not bothering me.
N-
It's like my own personal confusion. Don't worry about it. Um, you're good. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Sarah. I can't tell. I'm not good at telling these things.
I think you're smart and I don't want to come off as mean, but I do think you're wrong on a lot of things. And I don't know why you're getting held up on the way I say things. And
You're, fuck. This is like confusing as fuck. Okay. Hold on. I'm
you
just
said
gonna.
yesterday two things can't be true at once, and I think we found the two things that can't be true at once. I do genuinely think you're an okay person, but I disagree with everything you say. I find myself also. And those are two completely different things, but it's true.
Laura, thank you so much for the subscription. Ashley, thank you so much for the subscription. Welcome both of you to the community. I appreciate both of you so much for being here. Wait, what's going
Did you?
on?
Well, I'm just saying, like, as a person, I don't like hate you or anything. I don't know why. I think it's because I'm a woman that, like, it's getting kind of gross, but I don't mean my points in a gross way, and I don't want them to be painted in that way. So, like,
No, that's fine. That's fine. You're chilling.
okay. There's a lot
Okay.
of people watching. I was trying to forget that today. Maybe I did
No, it's
too
okay.
good
Just
of a
like
job.
cover up. Just like you gotta take something, cover the number up in the top. Just don't worry about it. Then like it's
Okay.
like nobody. Okay, wait.
I
So
was trying,
do
but that
you
was weird.
what's okay, wait. So let's just keep it simple.
Yeah, please
Do you
keep it
think
simple for
God
me,
created
Ian.
cancer?
No. I think he did, yes. And okay, see, you asked me a complicated question, A. So but
It's like a yes
yes,
or no
I
question.
do.
It's like pretty simple.
I think it's yes and yeah, I think the answer is yes and no. He created everything. So in that context, he created cancer, but also humans kind of created it on their own, but he created humans, which created cancer. So you could say
Okay.
he did, and that be correct, but also when you dive into it, there's other variables that God didn't play a part in. I know that makes sense.
Okay, so
I
do you
stand by
like
that point.
reject? Do you think dinosaurs existed?
Yes.
Okay, so we have dinosaur bones that have
I guess.
cancer in them.
I
So
think sometimes though people get too
how did
dinosaur.
sin wait, hold on. How did sin create cancer when cancer existed before sin and dinosaur bones? How is that possible?
Did cancer exist before humans?
Yeah, cancer existed before humans,
I
correct?
don't know if that's actually true. I'd
Do you
have
want
to
the
look it
dinosaur
up.
bones? I can send you
Well,
like
I've
the
never heard of a dinosaur having cancer, to be honest. I think a lot of people have it, Ian.
Oh, that's fine. Well,
I
I
don't
have
know if
I
that's
can
true.
send you the
I've never
bones.
ever
No,
heard
someone posted
that.
something funny in, in this. It's a really funny image. Whoever
Have you,
posted
do
that in the
you
live
really
chat.
know that? You know that dinosaurs used to have cancer?
Yeah,
That's an
because we have
awesome thing
dinosaur
to
bones that have
know.
cancer in them. Yeah, they had bone cancer.
I didn't know that. Okay, yeah, that does change my argument. Maybe that there's some hardships that are required if you're gonna have life. God chose to do life anyway. And technically, every stage of being is supposed to be a blessing. Even, I know it sounds so bad. It does. But even if you have cancer, you're technically supposed to be grateful for your life, at least your life. You're not supposed to be grateful that you have cancer. You can admit your life sucks, but you're not supposed to want to end your life because you're supposed to like find your own perspective. Like maybe in your
Could
next,
God give
I
us
don't
like
know.
struggles that didn't involve people dying like way too
I
young?
don't think so. I think certain hardships
Saint
are
Elliot, thank you so much for the
needed.
subscription. W
Because
Saint
if you
Elliot in the
think
comment section.
about
I
it
appreciate
on a
you.
real note, if we couldn't, a lot of things wouldn't exist if we didn't have hardships. Like if we didn't have predators, we wouldn't have that level of depth. There
Gina,
is
thank
a
you
lot.
so much for the subscription. I
I
appreciate it.
don't
W
know. I
Gina.
don't
That's fine. So we can have like what why would nature
your
itself be
perfect
evil to
world
us?
kind of equals no free will in a way, because if we did live in this perfect world where our pheromones are what decided if we said yes or no, it would be perfect and it would be great, but the people who think like that would still think like that. They just would have no, it would, I don't know.
Yeah,
You
they
need
just
to
wouldn't be
read the
able to like
book I
grape
sent
people.
you. I
Yes,
sent you
exactly.
this
But
perfect book,
wouldn't
and
we
it goes
prefer the
over
world with
that.
like no grape? Why would we
We
not want the
would,
world with no grape?
but because it wouldn't be free will.
Oh, so
You
do
wouldn't
we
have the
okay,
option to do it. It just wouldn't
so
be like,
do we not have free
I'm
will
not
because we don't have the
flirting.
Are you sure?
Is that what everyone's talking
Yeah,
about?
dog.
Is that like, oh, why is everyone in my business? And I'm
The
not
fuck? Do you think you're
overspeaking.
do you think you're like subtle?
I am subtle. I'm a subtle butterfly.
Bro, this is crazy.
I
So
am.
so
Wait, where do you live? Do you go to college? Are you rebuking me?
I rebuke you. I can't do this.
Okay.
Fuck, where was I?
I'm sorry. Wait, do you go to college?
I graduated last year, or like 2 years ago.
Do you still live in the same area?
No, I'm on like the East Coast now, but that's like,
Oh,
let's
okay. I'm on the East Coast too.
stop. You need to.
I'm literally just wondering because there's no one around me that talks about these subjects, and I do find it interesting. And like, I know, but I think that's proof of God too. The fact that you could talk about God not existing, and me, I can find God in this conversation.
All right, we're gonna go raid Justin. Justin's live on the deconstruction zone. We're gonna go raid Justin. It's the deconstruction zone.